the Game app.
Good morning, early game crew. Rise and shine. Whole lot to get into today. It's Masters weekend. Almost the weekend, then the tournament starts today. But the Masters just start. Jen Jensen was there. We'll get her review. She survived.
I could be a little sore, but you know.
A lot of walking, I'm sure.
And when you're 7 weeks out from, having hip repair surgery, it was a little interesting.
That really puts the surgery results to the test.
It does.
Yeah, and it's like this walking, right?
Yes, up
a lot of
hills and yes.
Oh, buddy. We'll get Jen's full review of Augusta National. I'm excited to hear this. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. Of course, she is Jen Jensen. And you are hanging out with us here on the early game up until 6 o'clock. A whole lot to get into in this hour, including the biggest portal period of Lamont Paris's career? I think so. They already have one person that they've got coming in on a visit, a couple of other reported players that they may be interested in or targeting, and I have a few players that I think they should go after. So I'll give you those. News with the women's basketball team with Medina Okot, her eligibility, and the NCAA's eligibility rule that is proposed that might change a lot of these type of circumstances. We'll get into that too, and we'll take a look at South Carolina baseball series against Missouri. That's all coming up later this hour, but it is April, Preston Thorne. The madness of March is done, and an even crazier phenomenon in football occurs this month, which is the overanalyzation. We call it overanalyzing April. Instead of March Madness, overanalyzing April, the overanalyzing of every single body that is going to be picked in the NFL draft. Now, I feel relatively confident in my own skin and my own body, but I could not be a player that's about to get drafted. You know why? Because if someone said I had a weird torso, I would never recover from that. I don't know.
That was a note I saw too.
Because I'm thankful for Dane Brugler's work, right, with The Athletic. His draft guide, The Beast, is like the most comprehensive work on analyzing players that are going to be drafted, right? If you have any questions about a certain player that your favorite team might be picking, if you don't have a subscription already, get a subscription to The Athletic. Go to Dane Brugler's The Beast, profile. For that player, and you will find everything you need to know. Everything, right?
Everything.
Did it take them too long to learn their threes multiplication tables in the third grade? You'll know about it in there. You'll know.
Elijah is not being hyperbolic
at all.
I've never seen this guide before. This is my first time looking at this guide.
Oh, you're a first timer?
Whoa.
Buddy. Oh, the background. Is Dane Brugler a cop? Is he a private detective? I don't know, man. It's impressive. This guy gets everything on everybody. It's wild.
It is, well, this is the first thing, and we're going to get to, obviously, Brandon Cisse.
Yes.
Because we're going to get there. Brandon Cisse, according to scouts, weird torso. But I don't know.
I would never recover from that. I'd be staring in the mirror and be like, is it really that weird? It's a little long. My pants fit funny sometimes, but that's... Is it that bad? I'm sorry, asking everybody I know.
But here's my biggest takeaway from this. Before we get to Brandon Cisse, is if your NFL organization says they didn't know, or we didn't know what we were drafting when we got this guy, or they knew and they just decided to ignore whatever was happening, because we have. You want to know what middle school Brandon went to? Furman Middle School. Did you know that his mother was a nurse? Because Dane Brugler does. Did you know that he shared a bedroom with his younger brother? Oh yeah, Dane Brugler does, and he put it in this. So there is no stone that is unturned. And so when your favorite organization or your favorite team drafts a guy and they're like, "Oh, we didn't know he had character issues." Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did. This sign can't stop me because I can't read.
This is
same energy.
This is wild. Very interesting, though.
What type of background services does this man have? I have more questions that I have to ask him that aren't related to football.
And you know, the thing is, I've not always known this, but I've known this since some of my teammates have gone through the draft process. I remember one of my teammates, he got into a fight in middle school, and when he was going through the draft process, a GM asked him about the middle school fight that he got into. And they was asking him about, like, how'd that go down? What was the situation here? And they called his principal, his middle school principal, and asked about the situation. He's like, yeah, I mean, he's cool, man. It was a middle school
dust up, buddy.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
So they do that extensive of research. So again, if you hear a player come through and they're like, oh, we don't know, he has character issues, they know everything about these players. That being said, Brandon Cisse loves man-to-man, and he has a weird torso. And I'm finding out more information.
Yeah, I'm finding out. I'm learning just by reading that. I learn a little bit more about the about how the torso is analyzed when it comes to players. But I did find it interesting, though, because this thing is so comprehensive. I wanted to see exactly where Dane Brugler had Brandon Cisse ranked amongst all of the players in his top 100, because he has like the link to the top 100. Now the larger guide, the Beast guide, goes to players that will not even get drafted, have reports in there, right? It is truly one of the most remarkable things. But he's got Brandon Cisse number 45 overall, the number 7 cornerback, and a second-round grade, which is a little lower than what you've seen guys like Mel Kiper, Bucky Brooks, Tankathon.com, like a lot of the mock drafts that I've been looking at have him drafted in the first round. Dane Brugler's got him as a second-round grade. Now, I will give you one of the paragraphs here, and then like the takeaway, just to kind of give you the idea of how Dane Brugler has looked at him on tape. Quote, an explosive athlete, Cisse plays with excess burst and speed to fly to the football. He tends to declare his hips early and relies too heavily on his athleticism rather than his technique or anticipation, leading to coverage losses. When he finds the football, he is capable of impressive athletic feats to knock it away, but he needs to be more consistent with his body phasing to shrink catch windows. Despite needing to clean things up in the run game, his downhill toughness is great to see. And then you have Dane's takeaway, which is like pretty much like the summary of what he is going to be in the NFL. Dane says, Cisse is an unrefined, promising cover athlete with the twitched-up movements and speed to become an NFL starter. However, his pro ceiling will be determined by the development of his route recognition and ball skills. He offers inside-outside versatility with special teams, in parentheses, gunner, upside. Mm-hmm. And when we watched him play, there is a lot of that's exactly how I kind of imagined what his scouting report would look like, because I thought what his strength was last year, at least in a South Carolina uniform, was if somebody did get him by a step or two, which did happen, right? Sometimes he would get beat by a step or two. I thought his closing speed was really impressive. Like, so if a quarterback floated a ball a little too long, Cisse is going to get there if he got beat. Or if a wide receiver like catches it initially, he's got long enough arms to where he gets his hand in there and he knocks a lot of balls out. Happened in the Virginia Tech game a few times, happened throughout the season on multiple instances where he maybe forced an incompletion that would have been a catch if, I guess, a quarterback maybe put a little less air on it, or if a wide receiver is maybe a little stronger with the ball. Like, if you're not strong with the ball and your hands aren't strong, Brandon Cisse is going to knock the ball out. Mm-hmm. So really what I read there kind of, I guess, reflected a lot of what I think we saw a lot this past year at South Carolina. Yeah, the scouting report matched the tape, or just what you envision or what you remember from it. And it's kind of two things. He's as it says, he can run like the wind, technical term. Yeah, technical term, can run like the wind. Take that for data. He runs like the wind. David Fizdale type beat. Yeah. So he can run like the wind. However, he has his main issue is that he has late recognition of routes. And so what they're saying with that is that because he doesn't recognize routes early enough, he has to rely on his ability to run like the wind to make plays. That can work in college. The question is, does that work in the NFL? And that's probably the dilemma that folks are going to be having, whether they draft him early second, late first, is the crux of that. Yes, he has all these physical tools. Will he be able to, with reps, with practice, will he be able to improve on his route recognition? And
that's sort of the risk you have to take as a GM.
Yeah, and how much trust do you have in your defensive coordinator or defensive backs coach to be able to teach him that, right? Because when you read like a scouting report when it comes to like the quarterback position, and there's a lot of his athleticism got him like by in college a lot. It's kind of like I know a little bit of an apples to oranges comparison, but like Johnny Manziel, for example, he could run around and escape pockets when he's facing against, potentially just 3 or 4 NFL starters on the other side of the football. When you get to the NFL, you're playing all 11 guys you're facing against are NFL talents, even against bad teams, right? They're NFL talented players, NFL athletes. That athleticism couldn't get him by because it wasn't that top notch. Now, Brandon Cisse is definitely a much better athlete than somebody like a Johnny Manziel would be. And his position is clearly a little bit different. But if you just kind of flip that same logic a little bit, how many NFL starting wide receivers did Brandon Cisse face at South Carolina this year? A few, but not on a week-to-week basis, right? Every week you are going to be playing against somebody with athleticism that can potentially match yours, right? So that learning of route recognition, anticipating better, and being able to get a step on somebody before their route breaks is a lot more important in the NFL because you can't get away with some of those mistakes that you might have made in college that your athleticism, your length were just able to erase, right? Because he's got good length. I think his arms are a good enough, size, and he's good enough athletically to erase some of those in college. It's just so much harder to just get by solely on that in the NFL.
And also in 2019, he was 5'6", 125 pounds playing JV, which is in the report.
Yeah, the JV measurables are in this report. Now, I
don't know where to go with that.
If I was ever that self-conscious about my weight, like in high school, and I was in this, and it was like Elijah Campbell did not weigh over 145 pounds despite being 6'4" until he graduated. I'd be like, okay, buddy, you don't have to know that. You don't have to know all that. You can get by without it.
Also, very safe to say, Preston was way earlier than JV before he hit the 125-pound mark. It wasn't JV. It was a lot earlier.
It says like in the body report, Preston Thorne surpassed 140 pounds at a disturbingly young age.
And he shopped the Husky section.
Husky section veteran.
Cleared out the Somerville Gap Husky section. You're like,
could all be kind of hurtful stuff. Yeah, knowing all that.
Like, hey man, I was 5'6", 125. I would love to see that picture too.
Oh, because if you look at the weaknesses, the first bullet point on weaknesses for Brandon Cisse, it says slender body type with narrow torso, lean limbs, and small hands. I'd be like, easy guy, come on.
I mean, wow, you really kind of have to be tough to handle some of that because that's just harsh.
Don't worry, folks. It's gonna be okay because he's gonna get drafted in the late first or early second round.
Yeah, he's gonna make his money.
It's gonna be fine.
He's gonna make money, and more than likely, he's gonna get drafted by a really good team.
Yeah.
If he can take the first round,
he'll say, "Look at my paycheck. Look where I was." So you laugh all you want.
Exactly.
Ka-ching.
Hey, buddy, my hands are big enough to hold all this cash. Okay.
Exactly. As the great Lou Holtz would say, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna blow away because my wallet's in my back pocket."
Yeah, I love that.
Don't worry about me. I'm fine.
My torso may be narrow, but my wallet is a lot wider now because I am a first-round draft pick.
Torso just got wider.
I'm wearing Husky pants just for the bigger pockets.
That's right, because I need it now.
Because I need it.
I'm carrying around all this cash.
Exactly.
But if you want to look at it, I highly recommend reading Dane Brugler's just the entire draft guide. Anybody that you might have a question on, trust me, you will get answers to whatever questions you may have. Mm-hmm. And I think after reading that, Dane Brugler's maybe a little lower on Brandon Cisse than a lot of other people.
Yeah, that's what was interesting to me is that he had him more so second roundish.
Yes, than first round. But with all the mocks that I've seen, and most of those are kind of intel driven, I could definitely see a scenario in which he's taken late first. But it's something for Gamecock fans to get to watch for whenever the NFL draft rolls around. But coming up next, After a second straight disappointing season for South Carolina men's basketball, Lamont Paris is getting an extra year, but this is the most important transfer portal window in his time at South Carolina. Who are players that they're targeting, reportedly? Who's a player reportedly coming to campus to visit? We'll discuss and give you their scouting reports coming up next year in the early game.
All my sports.
The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. And when things don't go well, it's time to look back on the days when things were well. Yeah. Let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
Line drive, right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series.
Sellers in the pocket. Up in the pocket, gonna run inside the 20, 10. Lenore Sellers going left side, 5. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown. Touchdown, Lenore Sellers. From 20 yards out, the Gamecocks take the lead at Death Valley.
Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Has it ever been on your bucket list to get to go to the golf tournament that's happening this weekend? You know, like that really big golf event that's happening this weekend. Well, my friends over at Pro Swing are giving you a chance to get to walk the hollow grounds at Augusta on Sunday and be part of one of golf's most iconic traditions. Yes, Sunday at Augusta, you have a chance because at Pro Swing, for every full price 2-hour bay booking from now until, let's see, really today. Like if you book one today, we've been doing this all week. Today is the last day. So book today at Pro Swing, right? And tomorrow, April 10th, the winner will be drawn and announced here on 107.5 The Game at our Forest Acres location. So yeah, full price 2-hour booking, cannot be paid with gift cards, cannot be combined with memberships. That is how you can get yourself in a drawing to potentially win tickets for Sunday. Go to ProSwingColumbia.com for more details.
Columbia, May 14th through the 17th. This is your chance to watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars up close. Before Justin Thomas and Scottie Scheffler were household names, they were right here on the Korn Ferry Tour. This is where the journey begins. Every shot bringing them closer to the PGA Tour. Tomorrow's champions are teeing it up today. Get your tickets now for the Colonial Life Charity Classic.
The cost of higher ed seems higher than ever. So for most, there's a difference between what scholarships cover and what school really costs. Fortunately, South Carolina Student Loan has been helping students and families close that price tag gap for 50 years. We're here for you to help cover tuition, books, meals, housing, and other educational expenses. Plus, because we're a not-for-profit, we're able to offer competitive rates and flexible options. So get the money you need for school today at scstudentloan.org.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Columbia business leaders, ready to grow in 2026? Join us for your business, your customers, your growth. The 2026 Digital Seminar, April 30th at Hilton Garden Inn, 1200 Pickens Street. Choose the session that fits your schedule, 11:30 with lunch or 2:30 with light refreshments. Attend and get $1,500 in advertising credit to boost your brand on our Columbia Cumulus stations. And when you confirm your reservation, you'll also receive a custom audio or video from Podcast Studio 803. Seats are limited. Dial pound 250 keyword Digital Impact to RSVP today. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Definitely a good start to your morning. No accidents to report. No significant slowdowns at this point. 71 is the high we're looking for today. Still going to be kind of chilly overnight. 46 for the overnight low. Sunny tomorrow. Really, it's going to be sunny all weekend. 78 tomorrow. Mid-80s Saturday and Sunday. So great weather ahead. Chillier than it was yesterday morning. It's 44 currently on 107.5 The Game.
Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
It was not a good season in men's basketball for South Carolina. Another missed NCAA tournament. Another season below 500. Finished 13-19 overall. You were 4-14 in the regular season in the SEC.
Oh, brother.
That means in the last 2 years, Preston Thorne, that is 6 SEC wins. I can do that math. That's 3 wins a year. Not going to cut it. Not good. But Lamont Paris got the statement of one more year of confidence from Jeremiah Donati. And I think we can all probably reasonably say that this is a hot seat year. This is the ultimate prove-it year that Lamont Paris has at South Carolina. And there has been a mass exodus from the transfer portal of this year's team that would make Moses blush. But there is an opportunity at hand because they are going to increase the NIL budget and the revenue sharing budget to be able to allow Lamont Paris to, what I would say maybe probably around the $9-10 million range. I don't know the exact figure of what they're going to give him, but when they gave $5 million last year and that was still last in the SEC, I can imagine doubling it would be a necessity, especially considering the rate in which everybody else in the league is increasing that budget, right? How competitive it's going to be with everybody else still remains to be seen, but the fact of the matter is you're going to be spending more. And there are more players in the transfer portal this year than there ever have been, right? This is a record that will break itself every year until eventually you just can't, right? You feasibly just can't. I think it's kind of like a bubble. Ultimately, it will pop and things will maybe eventually get to a point of a little bit of normalcy. When that is, I don't know. I can't promise you anything. But what I do know is that there have been some reports of visits. I know Gamecock Central reported this too. Inside the Gamecocks, they do a really good job. J.C. Sherbert, those guys also reporting Corey Mincy from George Mason, previously of Presbyterian, going to be on campus. And looking at that player profile, for those who might have been in the arena in December of 24, you would have recognized him because he scored 27 points against South Carolina in that building in December of 2024.
I remember.
And he left Presbyterian to go play at George Mason. He was George Mason's three-point threat. George Mason didn't have a ton of players that attempted more than 100 threes. I think they only had 2. And Corey Mincy was one of them. And he actually hit a pretty high percentage of them. It wasn't quite 40%, but he was at 38, which is well above average. Really good shooter. And he made 88% of his free throws, Preston Thorne, which tells me that three-point production is sustainable. He is a shooter, right? Doesn't foul a lot. And when you look at kind of what he's done statistically at Presbyterian and George Mason, he kind of projects as just like the perfect off-the-bench scorer for an SEC team, right? He's a little, I don't say undersized, about average size for a start as a like point guard or a shooting guard.
6'1"-ish.
6'1"-ish, right? In that ballpark. Assist rate probably isn't high enough for you to bank on him being your starting point guard. But again, you have seen him score in high volume several times in his career. And he is a player that can absolutely shoot the lights out. And when you were wanting to shoot the lights out this past year, and as a team, you failed to break average as a three-point shooting team, good place to start would be at least finding somebody who can get you a bucket. And Corey Mincy can at least get you a bucket.
And so is he starting as a centerpiece of the portal class? Is he becoming, because I guess the same conversation we have over and over again is when you're going shopping in the portal, what is this going to be for the recipe that you're eventually making for your team? Like, what part is Corey Mincy the potatoes, or is he the meat of this portal class?
If you want your portal class to be really good enough to get you another year, I think he needs to be the potatoes.
Okay.
He cannot be the meat.
Okay.
Right? And for this reason here, when you have a lot more money to work with, you need to go big game hunting a little bit, which is why there is one player that I think would be worth going big game hunting, especially when it comes to the potential, because you need to take some swings, right? I think trying to play it incredibly safe might, like would a 17 win on the bubble season that misses the NCAA tournament get him another year? You don't know. That leaves things up in the air, right? I think taking the big swing taking a big swing somewhere in this portal process is going to be worth it. But if Corey Mincy is a guy that you get and you bring in and he commits, he signs, if he's a guy that you're able to bring off the bench, if that's your sixth man, I think you're in good shape.
Okay.
I like your roster if that's somebody you're bringing off the bench. Somebody who can come in, give you a high-quality minutes, can shoot the lights out, has the potential to go for 10 to 15 points on any given night, or if he gets hot, can go for 20 off the bench, Vinnie Johnson
microwave
type stuff. Yeah, like a microwave type player. Because if you just look at, how their George Mason season ended, is 4 straight games with double-digit points. Right? In a couple of those games, he made a high volume, 40+% of threes. But then if you just look at the game log, there are a lot of single digits, right? And then there might be a stretch where he's in double digits a lot, right? He went from, he had one stretch. This was in January, right? They're in the middle of conference play, 19 against Rhode Island, 19 against Davidson, 22 against St. Bonaventure. Pretty good run. Right? You like that. In an A-10 league that is really competitive, it's a league that got 2 teams into the NCAA tournament this year, right? Multi-bid league, the A-10 was this past season. I like that guy off your bench in the SEC, especially when everybody else around you is going to get better.
So once you get that guy, then you have to go big game hunting. You said that there was somebody that was big game hunting. Do you have a name?
Donnie Freeman.
Donnie Freeman.
He was a top 10 player out of Syracuse. He's a big, but he's about 6'9", 6'10", but he's a guy that averaging double-figure scoring at Syracuse. It's going to take a lot of money to get him, but I saw him a lot in high school, and I know what he can be. Like last year, freshman season, maybe a little disappointing because the team was so bad, but it wasn't bad because Donnie Freeman was bad. He was their best player. High profile, going to cost a lot of money to get him. That's the type of swing I think that you would have to be able to take at one point. Other reported players, I know Inside the Gamecocks and J.C. Sherbert mentioned that Samit Yigitoglu.
That's a tough one.
It is. Turkish.
Okay.
Player from SMU, a 7'2" center, makes 63% of his twos, is a top 50 offensive rebounder in the country by percentage, Need to watch a little more to see how he is defensively. He will never be a shooting threat, though. He took 1 3-pointer this past year at SMU, and he is a sub 50% free throw shooter. So,
okay.
So the hopes of turning him into Karl Anthony Towns, slim to none. But there's your size right there, right? 7'2". Reportedly, there he is a big target for South Carolina. Another personal diamond in the rough one that I do like, Franquan Sherman, Kennesaw State, 6'7" wing. Considered like a non-shooter, but he's a top 80 offensive and defensive rebounder in the country, and he is really good at drawing fouls. So a couple of other players that I'm interested in, we'll see exactly who they're able to land. But coming up next, the women's basketball team got some not-so-good news for next year, but what does all that also mean in the big picture of the NCAA? We'll discuss next.
Florence and Myrtle Beach.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
Press here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, no problem. They'll come out to your location and they'll replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are. School, home, work, it does not matter. Absolute Glass will come out to you and take care of the job for you. Now, if you're at home, you're looking to increase the value of your home, Absolute Glass can take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Sponsored by Castle Brothers Home Services. CastleBros.com.
Replacing your HVAC system doesn't have to wait. Plan now, pay less later. Use your tax refund and save over $1,500 on a new system from Castle Brothers with low monthly payment options available. Call on Castle for comfort made easy. Visit CastleBros.com.
Attention music fans, the 3rd annual Meeting Street Music Fest is happening April 17th and 18th in West Columbia. This award-winning 2-day festival features 11 incredible bands, including national headliner Sugar Ray, plus amazing food, drinks, and fun, and it's completely free. Join us Friday from 6 to 8 at the West Columbia Amphitheater and Saturday from 3 to 9 along Meeting Street. Make it a weekend getaway and experience one of the Southeast's fastest-growing music festivals. Learn more at meetingstreetmusicfest.com. That's meetingstreetmusicfest.com.
Start your spring cleaning with Zerorez. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $109 plus a free hallway. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts. Plus, now you can also take $100 off air duct cleaning and breathe cleaner air. Visit ZerorezColumbia.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your neighborhood Food Lion.
Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game for AAA Heating and Air. Look, I know you're thinking about a lot of spring cleaning right now, but are you thinking about your generators? You need to be. Those things are vitally important when our power goes out. You want to make sure your generator is running great. At AAA Heating and Air, they're ready to help you. So call today or visit their website. Call AAAtoday.com and tell them Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Highway 601 at Bluff Road, there's an accident, so be careful there. Again, that's Highway 601 at Bluff Road. 71 for the high today. That's what we're expecting. Another overnight in the 40s. And then tomorrow, 78 with sunny skies. The sun continues and the temperatures go up for the weekend. 85 on Saturday and on Sunday. But it is time for a jacket right now. It's 44 on 107.5 The Game.
Early game. With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
I figured this was going to be the case, unfortunately, because of the time frame and because of the inconsistencies in the NCAA's rulings on eligibility. But ultimately, it has become official that Medina Okot will declare for the WNBA draft because the NCAA, in their initial ruling on her eligibility for an extra year at South Carolina, has been denied. Now, here's kind of the summary as to what happened. Medina Okot did play a couple of years at a Kenyan university, and then came to America, went to Mississippi State, then transferred to South Carolina. And the argument by Dawn Staley in South Carolina has been that those 2 years at the Kenyan University should not count because it is a different level of basketball than what it is here in America. Initially, that has been denied. And because Medina Okot only had 48 hours after the conclusion of the national championship game on Sunday to make the decision whether or not to enter the WNBA draft, where she is projected to be a late first-round pick, the risk of appealing that decision, if the initial one was a no, would be a very big risk because it would, if the no came back again, right? Mm-hmm. If the appeal didn't result in an overturning of the ruling and she didn't declare for the draft, she would have nowhere to play for this upcoming basketball season. So the safe bet is just to go ahead and declare for the draft after your initial ruling. That is
garbage.
The story.
I'm sorry.
Yes, it is also very unfortunate because Medina Okot was third in scoring this year and had 22 double-doubles on the season. It was a big part of what you did this year to get back to the national championship game. I think she, her and Raven Johnson alone beat LSU in the semifinals of the SEC tournament. She was fantastic for you all season long, was an instant impact on the team, and that does leave a pretty big, hole when it comes to size in your front court. You like what you have coming back next year with your front court, but Medina brought a 6'7" presence that was an elite paint protector, an automatic rebound getter, and somebody who certainly helped you in a variety of different ways. And unfortunately, she did not get the same type of favorable ruling that a lot of other players who have been trying to get tenure in college athletics have been able to get.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, everybody goes back to the Pavia case. That's one that sort of set What I said earlier is that the NCAA does not have precedent, so it's essentially shooting in the dark whenever you go to try and figure out what's happening with the NCAA, because you never know they never know what they're like. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Somebody just makes a ruling.
I'm pretty sure if you go to the NCAA website and you look up like who is in charge of eligibility rulings, the picture will be a magic 8-ball. Should we give this player eligibility?
But I mean, honestly, no other sport really has to do this. The men wait until they don't have to declare until late April. Like, this is it's unfair, because essentially she's been punished because she was with a team who did exceptionally well and made it to the championship game. That's just, it's wrong on so many levels.
She has just no time to appeal it, right? So if you didn't get that, even if you didn't hear a ruling by that 48-hour window, even if it was a yes, right? I don't know exactly what the WNBA's rules are with when it comes to withdrawing from the draft. I know, like in the NBA, because you do have so much time, right? The college season ends and you have a whole 2 months of preparation to get to the draft. You can declare for the draft, go through the combine process, and then you have a little bit of a window to jump out of the NBA draft process, right? Because remember, Colin Murray Boyles waited till about the last second before he decided to stay in the draft. He went through the combine and all of that and was told, yeah, buddy, you're going to be a top 10 pick. Like,
you can't come back here.
A few teams told him, like, yeah, if you get to our spot, we're taking you. One of those teams being the Phoenix Suns at 10, right? So it was one of those things where you're not falling outside the top 10. And then he really thought about it, because from, I understand Colin absolutely loved it here, really wanted to play another season. NBA starts calling, then it's hard to say no. But the fact of the matter is, Colin had the luxury of time to get to make that decision. Medina did not, right? If she didn't even hear the initial ruling after like 24 to even like 36 hours, you probably have to just go ahead and cut your losses and go to the WNBA.
Because of the calendar, because of when the WNBA starts, it always starts directly after. It's a summer league, and they play through the summer, so she was in a tough spot. But thankfully, the women in the dub won or settled their labor dispute with the ownership. So
they will be playing.
Whatever she was they will be playing a league. That's one. Two, she will be making a lot more money than she was going to make because of that. But this is all part of the NCAA's eligibility conversation, and the conversation just started, really flared up over this weekend when the president had an executive order with a lot of suggestions, because the president does not have rulership over the NCAA. So he just made a bunch of strongly worded suggestions. And then the NCAA took some of those strongly worded suggestions and said, we'll make a policy. And the first one they were looking at is that they're going to try and institute an eligibility policy where essentially you have 5 years from the time you turn 19 to compete in college athletics. That's really unfortunate for me, because one of my favorite bits is, check his birth certificate. And they're trying to eliminate, they're trying to ruin the show here, because this is one of the staples of the early game. But that being said, you'll have 5 years from 19 to compete. From 19, or if you graduate high school first. And so there's a little bit of things with that. One, the NCAA can make rules when they want to, because they're trying to get this done for August.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, oh, you can do stuff when you want to. And two, load up your GPS.
Lawsuit City is about to be bumping.
Because though you took Check's birth certificate away from me, we will be driving to Lawsuit City on this one.
It's like, how like the city of New Orleans during Mardi Gras, it gets a big bump in tourism. Lawsuit City is about to have like the biggest bump in tourism ever.
Yeah, because I think most people agree that this is a sensible rule. Like, hey, this fine, this makes sense. I think a lot of people can get consensus on this one. The issue is, as long as the NCAA continues to insist that these are quote-unquote student athletes, then you can't take the right to you can't take away the students' rights as being people that are competing, because I'm just a student. And as long as I'm a student athlete, I can compete. That's where the argument is going to be made. It will be challenged. We'll see.
Certainly
we'll see how this goes along.
Now, the report from Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports yesterday. It says, quote, next week an NCAA committee will discuss a new age-based standard for athlete eligibility that would grant athletes 5 full years of eligibility from the time of their 19th birthday or their high school graduation. And then here's the kicker. No waiver requests, red shirts, or exceptions will be permitted except for a small group of outliers, those on maternity leave, military service, or religious missions.
That list is going to get longer.
It's going to get a lot longer. They think it's going to be just like those 3 things. It is going to extend. Someone's going to find a reason to challenge them in court to where they have to be able to extend that list a little bit, right? Unfortunately for Medina Okot, no way to be able to extend a decision of whether or not to go into the WNBA draft. No possible way to expedite the process of an appeal ruling. So she would not be able to benefit from something like that, right? Because I think if that rule is in place, she could just come back and it wouldn't have to rely on that ruling. So we'll see how that withstands any type of, antitrust challenge in court. But until then, we have suggestions. We still don't have conclusions. But we also have this weekend, Preston Thorne, not just the Masters. Winnable series alert for Gamecock Baseball. I'll tell you why next.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence. Gamecock fans, get ready for something new this season. Charleston now has a new station for Carolina sports talk. Dial in to 96.9 The Game on HD3. Head to 96.9 FM and on an HD radio, punch into HD Channel 3. You'll unleash live Carolina coverage you can listen to all day long. New on HD3. It's 96.9 The Game HD3, South Carolina's newest sports station. This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Capitals captain and all-time NHL goal-scoring leader Alex Ovechkin announced that he is waiting until after the season to decide on retirement. Ovi, who is 40, has a contract that expires June 30th. Now, his defense isn't what it used to be, but he's still breaking records. Do the Caps want a younger team, or do they want to bring back their longtime captain? I'm Addie Bates.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Hey, it's Tyler Reddick from 2311 Racing. Most slot games are a solo lap. Slot Masters on Chumba Casino puts you on the grid with 2 other players. Battle it out over a 2-minute run. Everyone's spinning at once, points stacking up, and the leaderboard updating before the clock hits 0. Are you ready to race? With over 200 casino-style games and new ones dropping every week, there's always something new to line up for. Join the fun at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in the state where it's legal to play.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQBar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
Most protein bars are packed with sugar, carbs, and unpronounceable ingredients. There's a much better option. I'm Will, and I crafted IQBar plant protein bars with clean, functional, delicious ingredients to empower doers like you with superior brain and body fuel.
Now you can get 20% off all IQBar products plus free shipping when you text RADIO to 64,000. That's RADIO to 64,000.
Hi,
Hi, Flo here from Progressive. You know, life changes quickly, so it's good to have flexible coverage.
Oh, you mean like adding another vehicle?
Yes, that's something we can do.
Great, because I was thinking about getting a van so we could just keep the kids' softball stuff in the car.
Oh, we don't need to get into specifics. Just saying it's easy to change.
Oh, and Hannah wants to try the tuba.
Again, we don't need the specifics.
Last year, she wanted to be a tap dancer, but that only lasted 2 lessons.
Okay.
But she kept the shoes because they are adorable.
Well, just know that with Progressive, you can easily add another car to your auto insurance because we know life changes.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Winnable series alert. Sound the alarms. Winnable series alert. South Carolina goes to Como this weekend. Starting tonight, 7:45 pregame, 8 o'clock first pitch. You can hear that here on the game in the Gamecock Sports Network. But Missouri's one of those teams that historically in the SEC doesn't have the same level of investment as the rest of your peers.
They don't care.
They do not care. They're caring a little bit more.
Do not care.
But a little bit more compared to everybody else still looks like just not caring, right?
I'm sorry. I just had that Mike Tomlin clip running around. We do not care.
We do not care. Mike Tomlin is the University of Missouri, and the reporter's asking about the uptick in baseball, maybe attendance, because they've gotten a little better attendance, and they've been better this year. Mike Tomlin interrupts, we do not care.
Which is a problem because we care a lot.
We care a lot.
A lot.
And they are one game above you in the SEC standings.
That's the issue.
You cannot finish below Missouri.
They clearly do not care, and we care a lot, and they're above us, and that is a significant issue.
And we care a lot about that.
Yes. And you know what? Max Scherzer ain't walking through that door.
Okay.
Ask me to name another Missouri baseball player. I can't. Like,
Okay.
I guess graduate that is good in the MLB. There probably is some that exists. Max Scherzer is just the first one that comes to mind. But he's not walking through that door. Max Scherzer, I did not see on the probable pitchers report for this week. But I can give you my breakdown of this Missouri baseball team. I've got a lot of the numbers in front of me. I've taken a look, and they did take 2 of 3 from Kentucky this past weekend on the road. So they are better. But Monty Lee scouted Mizzou earlier this week to talk about just how much better they've gotten. Here's what Monty Lee thinks of the Missouri Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a ton about them. I'll certainly spend tomorrow. I'm not going to have a lot of time tomorrow to look at them. I know we have all our scouting reports ready, but they're more offensive for sure. You know, this year, just looking at them, I think they have like 4 left-handed hitters and a switch hitter in there. You know, they got a former Gamecock in there swinging it pretty good for them, and Jace Woida. You know, look, they're going to be tough, and they're tough to play there. I mean, that's a tough place to play. So, but look, we've had our moments in the last few weeks where we played pretty good. It'd be great to see us be able to, to play a complete series. And with the pitching staff, the starters that we have, they're going to give us a chance. So I'm excited about getting out there and seeing what we can do.
Now, when he talks about them being better offensively, they're still not a power hitting team. They're still second to last in the SEC in home runs, third to last when it comes to slugging percentage, but they're 7th, so they're middle of the road when it comes to like batting average, middle of the road when it comes to on base percentage. They are better at making contact. They're better at getting on base. So when you look at the offensive improvements Missouri's made, it's mostly from a fundamental standpoint of they are at least better at getting on base.
I hear all the numbers. I hear everything you just broke down. But when I listen to Monty Lee, it just reminds me how far this program has fallen, because we're essentially saying, hey, man, we want to go out there and compete with Missouri.
Yeah.
And that's never been, and that's not people's expectations. It's supposed to be, we're trying to go out there to take the series and or sweep Missouri. That's kind of how we have looking at this thing. And I heard the resignation kind of, maybe we are who we thought we were in whatever you want to, but it was just sounds like we want to go out there and compete, put together a complete series, whatever that looks like. That just shows how far the program has fallen to this point. That being said, yes, this is an opportunity to go out there and win the series.
And here's the opportunity too. You know, the bats are really cold. At least they were against Texas, which Texas's pitching staff, phenomenal.
Of course.
Right? You're not going to maybe find a better combination of starting rotation and bullpen in all of college baseball than you will with Texas. But with Missouri, they are second to last in the SEC in ERA. You know the most surprising thing about this that I noticed yesterday when I was looking through this, Preston? You know who has the worst ERA in the SEC? Vanderbilt.
Ooh, okay.
Tim Corbin, pun intended, lost his fastball.
That's it. What's their record?
I think they're sub 500 in the SEC. They are actually an RPI like in South Carolina territory. Been a tough year for Vanderbilt, even though they did win like 3 walk-off games against Tennessee.
I do remember that.
Like it was just back-to-back walk-off games.
Legit.
Legit walk-offs. Yeah, where like they are. Like, it was. If you want just a fun baseball series, that was a fun baseball series.
I want a fun baseball series here.
That would be great.
With us.
At
and by fun, I mean winning.
Maybe you get it in Como, because again, this has winnable series alert written all over it. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Coming up next, we're going to do a little bit of an audible because the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge with our boy Josh Harris is coming up.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Sponsored by Castle Brothers Home Services. CastleBros.com.
Replacing your HVAC system doesn't have to be an emergency. Plan now, pay less later. For a limited time, get $1,500 off a new home comfort system, plus a free 2-year Comfort Club maintenance membership. Visit CastleBros.com.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing, a chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
The Colonial Life Charity Classic is coming to the Wood Creek Club right here in Columbia, May 14th through the 17th. This is your chance to watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars up close. Before Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler were household names, they were right here on the Corn Ferry Tour. This is where the journey begins. Every shot bringing them closer to the PGA Tour. Tomorrow's champions are teeing it up today. Get your tickets now for the Colonial Life Charity Classic.
Columbia, when you want the real Harley-Davidson experience, there's only one place to go, the Haven Harley-Davidson, Columbia's exclusive Harley-Davidson dealership. From the newest motorcycles to genuine parts, gear, and factory-trained service, everything you need to ride starts right here. No substitutes, no second choices, just the authentic Harley-Davidson experience delivered by the team that knows riders best. Whether you're gearing up for your first bike or your next big adventure, the Haven Harley-Davidson is the place that rides with you, supports you, and keeps you rolling. Visit thehavenharleydavidson.com and discover why Columbia calls us home.
Sponsored by Woodman Life. protecting hardworking families with life insurance.
Woodman Life believes every hardworking American deserves to leave a legacy. Life insurance helps protect the people you love and the future you've worked hard to build, so your story lives on. Get your quote at woodmanlife.org. Woodman Life is the brand name for Women of the World Life Insurance Society in Omaha, Nebraska. Ad number A0136.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
And taking a peek at traffic conditions, we are looking at an accident at Highway 601 at Bluff Road. Other than that, things moving fairly well. 71 for the high today, 78 tomorrow, mid-80s, and sunshine all weekend long. But it's Jack the weather for the start of your day. Right now it's 44 on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. Back to sports. The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Hour number 2 of the early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He is Preston Thorne. She is Jen Jensen. And we're getting in our hypothetical NASCARs here, and we're going racing because we got a big race in Bristol this weekend. One of my favorite short tracks. Actually, no, not one of my favorites. It is my favorite short track.
Like watching racing in a cereal bowl.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love that.
I like that.
Mostly it was my favorite course to drive on, NASCAR Thunder 2004 back in the day.
Oh, there you go.
It was so much fun. And it was the closest one to where I grew up. And I never got to go inside it. I've driven past it many a time. It is a really, really cool place. If you've never been to Bristol, Tennessee, very beautiful part of the country.
It is.
But
I concur.
I actually get to do the, different tracks will do the Christmas lights and things like that.
Ooh.
And they did that as well. So I got to do like the drive on the track for not fast, but you could kind of take in some of the lights and stuff like that at Christmas time. It was kind of fun.
I'd be a little scared if it was going that fast. I'm trying to look at Christmas lights and I'm just going NASCAR speed around that track.
Yeah, no, it was a little slower going. And then they had lights like under the grandstands, and it was a really neat experience. It was kind of fun.
So I'm one of those, I can't read in a car if I'm a passenger. Like my mom would be able to sit in the passenger seat of a car and just read like full books on road trips.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at my phone and I'm in the passenger seat, I will get nauseous.
Oh,
that would make me so sick if you drove around the track that fast and I'm trying to look at lights.
Yeah.
There's going to be a mess in that car.
So you're not going to be an entrant in the race this week?
I will go ahead and officially rule myself out.
Okay. Well, then I got to adjust my picks.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, that might change everybody's picks a little bit. Some drivers might be opened up for the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge. This is where we bring in our man Josh Harris, the man over at Darlington. That's his new title that I gave him. He didn't give him that title. I gave him that title.
I need to get a music bed for that.
We do. Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of options that we have for that.
I already have a couple in my head.
Oh, see, and that's why we pay Jen the bucks around here. Josh, good morning. Appreciate you moving around your schedule a little bit to hang out with us earlier this morning.
Yeah, good morning. Glad to be on, and we gotta find some walkout music, right? That'll be cool.
I think that would be very fun. I know they do that, for when they introduce some of the drivers. So I think they could have a little bit of fun with. We could do that for Josh as well.
Easily.
That'd be great. Well, Josh, it's been quite a week. We had a week off as far as the Cup Series was concerned. Did some racing at Rockingham in the other series. But one of the headlines from this past week had to do with fuel mileage for a race coming up, and that would be Talladega. And I was going to have you kind of explain to them a little bit as to what's going on to avoid the driving around the track just at, half throttle for Snooze Fest racing. So maybe can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on with that in the stages?
Yeah, so the shortest version is the crew chiefs and the engineers on these teams are really smart. And what they've figured out is that to be in the best position at the end of the race, you want to have your last pit stop, which has traditionally been under green flag conditions in the super speedways. You want it to be as short as possible. So the only way to do that is to save fuel earlier in the race. Which gets the drivers kind of half to three-quarter throttle, run around the pack. There's not as much passing. To just the viewer without the commentary, you probably wouldn't know it, but you know what's going on, and fans have voiced their displeasure in that style of racing. So to try and take some action to alleviate that later in the race, you're not going to be able to get rid of it completely, but they're going to lengthen the first stage, and they haven't decided exactly where the number of laps, but it's probably going to be somewhere around 100 laps for the first stage, and then the last two stages will be shorter, less than 50 laps each at Talladega. We run 188 laps there in total to make up 500 miles. So, and the goal there is the last two stages, you can make the whole stage on a fuel run, so there should not be this fuel saving that we've seen, and we really don't want it towards the end of the races. So that's in a nutshell what we're looking for. I think by early mid next week we'll probably have the specific stage lengths announced from NASCAR.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot more sense, and I'm glad they're considering that because again, you're there to watch a competitive race, and with again drivers lying back, it's just really not a whole bunch of fun. So I'm anxious to hear.
Not something Dale Earnhardt would do. Dale Earnhardt wouldn't do this. That's what you hear a lot.
Keep the dorks out, man.
Yeah.
They ruin everything.
No, I totally agree with that. Now, for just starting the season overall, man, it's been Toyota strong for sure with, you've got Reddick with 4 wins, and then, Hamlin picks up a win. Obviously, as we get into the season more, now that we've had this, 1 week break, I assume we're going to be seeing more from some of the teams that you expect to see. But really, the start of the season has been a little extra surprising. I mean, when you look in the top 16, you have obviously Reddick up there, but even Preece, and you have SVG. You've got Hocevar, even Bubba, all in the top 16 right now. So how do you think the season starts to shake out as we really get into the meat of the season?
Yeah, I think, some of those names, like Chase Briscoe as an example, he started off the season not necessarily with slow cars, but he didn't get good finishes at the first couple of super speedways and road course. So it put him, towards the back of the standings. He's had to work to claw his way back. And, you've got some guys on the flip side of that who've had great starts to the season. So I think we're getting into the part where you get 1 week off to kind of reset. And we'll start to see some of those things maybe balance out a little more traditionally. But I think it's great to see guys like Carson Hocevar up near the front. And, Bubba Wallace has really taken advantage of a lot of stage points. He got some good finishes, really good finishes to start the year. More recently, he's had a little bit of struggle. But I think it shows the importance of balancing, getting those stage points during the race with also good finishes and how important the points are overall this year with the new championship. So I'm excited to see. I'm interested to see if this 1 week off gave Chevy or Ford an opportunity to maybe work on their cars a little more, see if they've got anything for what we've seen in the Toyotas to start the season, taking a lot of the victories.
I totally agree. One bit of news that was a little interesting, the Cletus McFarland situation, and that with the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, how he's only going to be doing some short tracks for a little bit. I was going to have you touch on that a little bit as far as I think it's smart, and I think I think what NASCAR did as far as limiting what he's going to be running in those series makes sense. But and he handled the news well. But I thought maybe could you speak to that a little bit as far as that whole situation for those who aren't aware?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a race fan, you got a guy like Cletus McFarland who's got a huge following on YouTube and has done so many different cool things in and around motorsports for the last 8 to 10 years on his own channels, and now he's branched into NASCAR. He's had a chance to run ARCA races, truck races, and RCR was going to give him a chance to run, 3 O'Reilly races this year, which is great. But at the end of the day, what he truly lacks is seat time in a stock car professionally racing. And I think that is what you saw at Rockingham. He spun out a few times, and while he didn't crash, didn't ruin anybody else's day, I think it just showed he needs more time. And he needs more time, and that's something you can't just, make happen without putting yourself behind the wheel. NASCAR has to think about the competition as a whole, the other, 36, 38 competitors in the O'Reilly series that are going to be out there racing. And while Daytona and Talladega aren't necessarily the handling tracks that a Rockingham might be, you're still, in those cars probably pushing 190 miles an hour, inches apart, 40 cars, and one wrong move. And I know anybody can make that wrong move, but the more experience you have, the less likely that is. So I think NASCAR was in a tough position. As a fan, as a promoter, you want a guy like him in your race, but also understand there's another side of it. And like you said, he handled it really well. He will, I think, continue to get more experience behind the wheel in some of the other series. He's fully approved to run any track in ARCA, any track in the truck series, and just got to get a little bit more time before he can jump behind the wheel in the O'Reilly series at the bigger tracks.
Really quick, I know we're going to get to picks here, but I wanted to follow up on that because this sounds a lot like the situation that golf has experienced with YouTube being a huge aggregator of viewers. Would Cletus, what a great name to say, is Cletus somebody that would bring a lot more casual eyes to NASCAR? Is that the situation with him?
I think so. He's had a following that he's built on YouTube. I think his subscribers are over 4 million, and he's doing cool stuff, and he's just a fun guy, and he's making motorsports fun for anyone. And I think that's his interest. He got connected with Greg Biffle before Greg passed away, and that kind of spurred his interest in pursuing a little bit more on the stock car side. So, I think that's a good correlation.
Yeah, and his real name is Garrett Mitchell, or Lawrence Garrett Mitchell. But yeah, Cletus McFarland is more fun, and he'll get a real deep Southern drawl. And
I like you.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to follow.
And his best friend who raced with him in ARCA this past weekend is trying to get in some other races. His name is Squirrel McNutt.
Wait, what?
Squirrel McNutt.
Somebody just popped up. What?
I beg your pardon?
Squirrel. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's a really great point that we want more eyes on the sport. And if you have somebody like that, and I saw, a couple people who said, oh, he shouldn't be racing. And he kept saying, I need more windshield time. Well, most times people say they need more seat time. That's usually the lingo. But he kept saying more windshield time. It's like he can say whatever he wants. He knows he needs to be in the car more, but I think he's going to be a fun story to watch, and I think if he can just get that seat time, I agree. I think he'll do okay. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited to see him. I hope he continues to race. I think he's still going to race the ARCA, race at Talladega, and continue to build that experience, and hopefully we'll see him in an O'Reilly car down the road.
Outstanding. All right, we're heading to Bristol.
Oh, I love Bristol. All right, so I guess this means here's the point standings update. Josh with a nice little lead right now, sitting at 38 points. Jen at 34. Preston at 32. Reggie at 29. And then I am in last at 28. But to give you an idea of how close this has been, the last race in Martinsville, everybody picked a top 12 finisher. And nobody picked the winner. So it was a pretty even across the board. That's how tight this thing has been. We've actually, as a group, have been on a roll. I don't think anybody's picked anybody outside of the top that finished outside the top 20 since March 8th. So we've done pretty well so far. So I guess that means I'm going first. And
then Reggie, which I failed him to tell him we were doing this early, so I feel bad about that. But hopefully he'll get his pick in soon, and we'll go from there. So but he's kind of dominated. So
did he? Is he in?
Who picked whom? Okay, he was being very gracious. He said, "No worries. Let me know who picked whom, and I'll send mine in." So
he won't. I'll tell you.
Guy.
I'll tell you what he can't pick. He can't pick Denny Hamlin because I'm taking Denny.
Okay.
So give me Denny. I think that's probably maybe the safest pick I could find.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
So I'll take
successful there. Outstanding. So Preston.
Well, that was my pick. That was the early one I saw, so I'm going with Kyle Larson.
Mm-hmm. Playing the odds there, aren't you?
We're going safe here.
Oh, gosh. I've struggled with this one a little bit, but I think I'm looking for... Let's go Blaney. I'm not sure that that's a great pick, but, I'm going to see if that doesn't serve me well this week.
That was my number 2 pick, if that makes you hesitant.
Oh, there you go. That makes me very hesitant. Oh, crud. That was a bad pick. Okay. That's not good. Josh, so who are you thinking since you're top dog in this right now?
I'm in the lead. I'm feeling good. I think I'm going to go a little bit, a name we haven't heard. I don't know if we've heard this name picked ever. If ever, it's been a long time, but he's been running really strong. He's got good results in history in a short amount of time at Bristol. I'm going to go with Ty Gibbs.
Yep. That was actually my 3rd pick.
I will say, saw him high on the odds board.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on any of, I guess, the gambling sites. So there we go. Reggie still TBD, but I got Denny Hamlin. Jen's got Ryan Blaney. Preston's got Kyle Larson. And Josh has Ty Gibbs. Josh, appreciate the time as always. Looking forward to doing it again next week.
All right. Talk to you then.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Great stuff from Josh, the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge. Coming up next is the early game morning meeting, and there is a certain coach in the Big Ten with a very interesting way to evaluate quarterbacks. We'll tell you who next.
Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
South Carolina men's head basketball coach Lamont Paris is coming back next year, and Coach Paris has to fill out his roster, so the transfer portal will be vital to success in 2026-27.
All this isn't about just NIL. I think there are a lot of components to putting a team together. How do pieces fit together? What does a player play? The fashion and style of ball that you would like roles are important.
And the game will dig into every player. Even what they ate in elementary school. On your home of everything Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
The time for spring cleaning is now, right? And don't be like me, because I am a procrastinator. Go ahead, take care of this early by calling my friends over at Zerorez. Call them early, at 803-262-4020, or go to ZerorezColumbia.com online ASAP, not just because you don't want to be like me and procrastinate, but because spots and April appointments are filling up incredibly fast. Why are they filling up fast? Well, that's because Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning has an incredible deal right now where all you got to do is mention us at 107.5 The Game, and you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned plus a free hallway for just $109. And for a very limited time, you can take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Again, nobody cleans like Zerorez. That zero water technology just means no soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals. The only thing it does leave is soft, fluffy carpets that stay cleaner longer. Go ahead and book your appointment now at ZerorezColumbia.com.
Explore the world with the 31st Annual Columbia International Festival, April 18th and 19th at the State Fairgrounds with free parking. Experience over 100 national exhibits, cuisines from around the world, an international bazaar, a global fashion show, an Olympic-style flag ceremony, and performers from around the globe. Now partnering with the SC250 Revolutionary Discovery Center. For tickets and more information, visit CIFonline.org. That's CIFonline.org.
This is Joe
Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia. Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Springtime in Columbia. And if you hate to paint, do what Jean did. She called Rhino Shield.
So the house was built in 1952. We had Rhino Shield out about a year and a half ago to paint our house from gray to white.
Remember, Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
My husband had to talk to me a little bit about Rhino Shield. Is it something we want to do? But it was 25-year guarantee. I just didn't know how we could go wrong.
Columbia, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield now for 15% off the regular price.
We have 3 different exteriors to our property, and Rhino Shield painted them all. We were very pleased with the product and the job they did.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer's limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
We do have the all clear, no accidents to report at this time. Good news there. And the forecast, it's also good news. We're looking for a high today of 71, 78 tomorrow with sunshine, and we'll be in the mid 80s through the weekend and into the start of next week. And dare I say, we could hit 90s later next week. But right now, it doesn't feel like 90, that's for sure. 44 on 107.5 The Game.
Early game. With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
There are many ways to evaluate quarterbacks. A majority of them are wrong, and that's why it's so hard to evaluate quarterbacks, because we've seen so many ways in which you shouldn't make quarterbacking decisions, right? Football history, college and NFL, is littered with bad quarterback decisions. And a lot of that stems from how you evaluate them. I know with Joe Burrow, it was maybe hand size.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that didn't matter.
Zach Wilson threw the ball really far one time in shorts and a T-shirt, and it was like, he has to be the number 1 draft pick.
He had Chris Sims saying he should be taking over Trevor Lawrence.
Just because he threw it once. He rolled out left and threw it right high, and they were like, oh, my God.
I've never seen a ball go that high. He can hit an airplane. We must draft him in the top 2. a lot of silly ways to evaluate quarterbacks. However, this week, a certain Big Ten quarterbacks coach might have taken the award for the silliest way to evaluate quarterbacks, and that's what we're going to discuss for today's morning meeting.
Good morning. Good morning. Repeat after me. Today will be an awesome day.
Awesome day to get silly.
Let's go.
Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day.
Nobody hits the sprinkler like that anymore.
Days of yore.
Yes.
Days of yore. A bygone era.
Bring it back.
A bygone era, if you will. But we discussed some of these silly ways to evaluate quarterbacks. I think it is, in hindsight, maybe a little silly that just because Joe Burrow can't carry all of the grocery bags inside from the car in one trip doesn't mean he's not going to be a really good NFL quarterback. I think he's disproven that. But then some people look at Kenny Pickett and say, he can't do that either. He needs gloves. His hands are tiny. Mm-hmm. And then maybe it validates it. We can argue about that because it's silly and there's really no correlation here. But how about judging a quarterback's decisiveness based on his choice of ice cream? Does that sound silly?
Excuse me?
Well,
hey, Elijah, what's the scoop?
I may be a good person to ask about the scoop when it comes to analyzing ice cream, because if you've taken a look at me every now and then, it does look like I do enjoy a good pint every now and then. But Oregon's quarterback coach, we'll call him KK. All right, we're taking the check down here. Coach KK, his initials, gave his process when it comes to evaluating potential quarterbacks in their decision making.
Hey, do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? Okay, the minute a kid pauses, I don't really want that kid, right? Because you need to have some type of conviction, right, wrong, or indifferent. Okay, so whether you like chocolate or you like vanilla, I don't really care. But if you sit there and say, coach, I don't know. Is it melted? Is it not? What's the brand? So on and so forth. Like, what is this kid going to do on third down in front of 110,000? He's probably going to think about it more than he should. He's not going to have conviction, right? So it's, like I just said, long-winded, I understand, but it's the mental aspect is really what we're after.
I'm thinking the mental aspect of the coach is a little bit of a concern.
If you missed it, one of his decisive questions in evaluating on incoming talent is, hey man, randomly, hey man, you like chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
If you hesitate.
If you hesitate, that obviously means you can't convert a third down. Obviously.
It depends on my mood.
And it does.
It does.
That's
when I'm playing football, I don't have a mood. I'm there for a job. It's totally different.
Like, could you imagine like asking Patrick Mahomes that question and Patrick Mahomes going, well, I like chocolate ice cream on some days. Have you had Bluebells? You know, and like really getting into like a deep, dive on ice cream and him and, that coach being like, can't take him. Sorry. Too indecisive.
Not decisive enough.
Can't take him.
I mean, if we were going to play this game, and the thing about this clip is, if you watch the video, he's not doing it with like a smirk or maybe a hint of like wink, wink. This is kind of stupid.
He's deadpan.
Oh, he's deadpan.
Absolutely serious. Yeah. Absolutely serious. And for me, if we were going to play this seriously, I would like a quarterback to ask me some more qualifying questions, like what brand is it? Right? That's a fair question.
Nuance, yeah.
That's a fair question. Are we just dealing with chocolate or vanilla? Are we dealing with some variations? Is this Neapolitan? Is this a la mode? Am I having this on pie? Am I having this with cake?
Are there bits of cookie dough in there?
Yeah, because
that matters.
Because I would like my quarterback to be a detail-oriented person.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, my lineman, he's just gonna eat all of it, right? Yeah. He just wants all the ice cream.
If he says there's any ice cream he doesn't want, then I might hesitate.
Then you're like, I don't know about this guy.
No, man, I need you consuming the calories, brother.
I don't know about this guy. But my quarterback, I want my quarterback to ask more questions because he's gonna have to ask more questions on third down. Like, hey, man, it's not just gonna be a simple A or B read. It's gonna be like, is the cornerback blitzing? Is the safety staying? Is the linebacker coming? The quarterback has to process information. But also, strangely enough, hey, man, what? Like, we're just walking around, and the coach is like, real quick, vanilla chocolate, huh?
Cone?
Also, the ability for him, like he immediately went to, because it wasn't like it was that long after the question was asked that he had a very detailed response. That man's been thinking about this for a while.
Yeah.
He's been using this for a while.
And honestly, then I want to go to him and say, why chocolate or vanilla? Why are you not asking about other things?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you have a problem with fruits?
Right.
You know, why not strawberry and butter pecan?
But that being said, really quickly, Jen, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Elijah, chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Preston, chocolate or vanilla? Vanilla. However, in my earlier days, it was chocolate, but I've become more of a vanilla person as I've gotten older, and maybe my palate has changed a little bit. Is that good enough, Coach? I don't know.
Yes. I love vanilla's versatility, but you know what? If I, every now and then, chocolate ice cream sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then.
But here's the thing. Plain, to me, plain vanilla is better than plain chocolate.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think so? See, maybe the coach has a point. Maybe the coach has a point. Explain.
No, to me, there's enough in the if it's a good ice cream. Now, if it's
this is where he goes in the brand
transfer
because
portal
I'm thinking
quality.
like half gallon Neapolitan. I'm thinking basic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking good stuff here. I'm talking the stuff you get at a kid's birthday party.
You might need something with it then. But if it's like a really good, really rich, then that's all you need.
Maybe.
Well, all I know is the way Jen answered that question initially means one thing and one thing only. Congratulations, Jen Jensen. You are the starting quarterback for the Oregon Ducks.
Thank goodness. So it's been really nice, guys. I'll call in.
So we'll ask you all really quickly on the text line. Send us in, chocolate or vanilla. No qualifying questions. If you don't text us in, then you obviously are not able to get a scholarship.
You cannot play quarterback for us.
And maybe you can't even make any decisions in your life.
And if your response is, I want my ice cream to taste like the fear of my enemies, then congratulations, you're the number one wide receiver. And you will go for over 1,000 yards. Oh, remarkable stuff. 803-404-6100. That's the Firehouse Subs text line. But coming up next, Brett McMurphy was on our airwaves the other day talking about the Big Ten's run they've had in championships. Have they surpassed the SEC? Well, we'll discuss and hear what he had to say next.
5 The Game in Columbia, 96.9 The Game in Charleston, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. And when things don't go well, it's time to look back on the days when things were well. Yeah, let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
The Gamecocks are making history in Cleveland. They'll be the 10th team, the 5th program to go undefeated and win the national championship. They will avenge their loss to Iowa from last year. The clock ticks down. 2 seconds to play. Celebration in Cleveland. Perfection wears garnet and black. Game over.
Gamecocks are in the Final Four.
Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network.
Oh, man, choosing ice cream can be a pretty tough choice, but that might not be the biggest issue you have going on for you right now. Because if your biggest issue right now is trouble with income or business tax issues, it's a little bit more thought required, a little bit more game planning required, a little more assistance required. And that's where my friends at the Ecton Law Firm come in to play. 803-771-9800. That is the phone number to get in touch with John Ecton and his team at the Ecton Law Firm, where you can set up a free consultation to discuss whatever tax issues you're facing. Again, whether it's personal income tax issues or business tax issues, they can take care of those for good at the Ecton Law Firm. His local team is completely qualified to offer you peace of mind because they have dealt with thousands of families and businesses in South Carolina just like yours escape that IRS maze, and they can help you do that today. 803-771-9800 is the number to call, or you can go to EctonLawFirm.com.
By Credit Karma.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
This is Larry Leitner. owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Liner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Looking for a dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, where we've been proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're shopping for a new or pre-owned vehicle or just need expert service, you'll find it all right here. Shop online anytime at HerndonChevy.com or stop by and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
The one and only Monster Jam. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Sparkle Smash, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Save 25% on face value of a family 4-pack of tickets. Get your savings coupon from participating Texas Roadhouse locations. See coupon for details. Restrictions may apply. Coming to Colonial Life Arena April 18th and 19th.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Full Send Golf. You guys know how much I really, really love golf, and I think every week would be dope to post on the Golf Channel. I want to get a lot of guests on here.
Salim's going to take lead. I'm down to be in it. It's not really work to play golf.
Join the party on the golf course. I was like, let's go to the range.
Oh.
So what are we putting on it?
We said 10K, right? 10K? All right. We probably bet more than all the other golf channels, right? 10K, 9 holes. Those guys bet for like cookies.
I feel like I'm going to shank it.
This guy's been training like a Navy SEAL when it comes to golf.
I'm very, very excited. You excited?
Yeah.
Full Send Golf. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Still looking pretty good. No accidents to report. Some slowdowns on I-26 eastbound there around the Valentine exit coming into Columbia around I-20. Aside from that, again, no accidents, so that is wonderful news. And great news ahead for your forecast. Cloudy, 71 today. Overnight low still chilly tonight, 46. And 78 tomorrow, mid-80s for the weekend under sunny skies. Currently 45 on 107.5 The Game.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, we asked, and you responded. Patrick on the Firehouse Subs text line says French vanilla with good olive oil drizzle.
That sounds awesome and amazing, but you, sir, I don't know if we can have you with my team. My team is a lunch pail team. We like to run the ball. We're tough guys, and if you want to get olive oil drizzle, I don't know if you have a place here.
What about balsamic? Because let me tell you, a good raspberry balsamic on chocolate or vanilla.
Raspberry balsamic, then you got me. Yeah, I'm not. You lost me in the first half. Not gonna lie. You got me in half number two. Then.
Yeah.
I'm thinking just regular balsamic. And
no.
I immediately made a face.
Yeah, no, you get like a raspberry or a blueberry balsamic.
Jeff on the Firehouse Subs text line says, chocolate, since I have to play by your rules. Quality does matter, though. Baskin Robbins had a great Dutch chocolate. Used to get a scoop of that with French vanilla. That was a killer combo. That would get me 2 NIL deals at Oregon as starter and backup.
Nice, but you asked too many questions. You had to talk about the brand, and you said French vanilla, and the coach clearly just said vanilla and chocolate. I feel like that coach didn't think this all the way through. He's going to run up against somebody who's smarter than him. He's going to be like, oh, I didn't consider that.
I'm telling you, a good nuanced answer to that question.
That would pique my interest. Like, if you ask the question and we get olive oil and French vanilla and brands and all that stuff, like, oh, you like Bluebell? He's from the South. Okay, mark that down. Right?
That could be interesting.
It's like, Coach, we knew he was from the South. Now we really
know.
He didn't lie about where he's from.
He's not from the South. He's Southern.
He's Southern. That's right. There's a difference. You're from the South and you could be Southern. There is a little bit of a distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, certainly. Another texter on the Firehouse Subs text line says, Rocky Road if it's Breyers, coffee if it's Haagen-Dazs, if it's with pie, vanilla bean. I was a high school quarterback, but clearly not a good one.
That's why it ended at high school for you, because you can't make a decision.
Yeah, so sorry.
Oh, good stuff. Keep them coming. 803-404-6100. But after this weekend and after Monday night, the Big Ten has made a resounding statement. They won the national championship in football with Indiana. UCLA won the women's basketball title on Sunday over South Carolina. Michigan won the men's basketball title Monday night over UConn. And in the Frozen Four, which is the hockey tournament, Wisconsin.
I thought we were still talking ice cream.
Also, I bet they have incredible ice cream at the Frozen Four. If they don't, they've missed out on a real good marketing deal. They've completely missed out on it.
We need to talk to them, find out.
I'll call somebody. There's going to be a number for somebody. If I have to call the Magic 8 Ball that makes the eligibility decisions, apparently, I'll get on the phone with the Magic 8 Ball. But we'll get on the phone with someone in Indy. But then Michigan and Wisconsin, both in the Frozen Four. Now, if Wisconsin wins the Frozen Four, then that's a different school that has won a national title. Penn State's won it in wrestling, and there are countless other sports in which Big Ten teams have won titles, or they're contending for them. In baseball, the number one team, I think they're 30-2 right now, is UCLA, and that's the Big Ten's really their best chance at winning a title in baseball.
As I said, it's going to be all decided on the mat, because there are 4 SEC teams in the women's gymnastics championship, and there's 1 Big Ten team. And if they win, that might be the deciding factor.
It very well could be, because the gymnastics SEC all over the place, right? Like they're almost dynastic in that regard. But that's a lot of championships that the Big Ten's won, especially at the highest level. Now, on the halftime show earlier this week, good get for them to get Brett McMurphy on. Brett McMurphy gave his take on whether or not the SEC needs to catch up to the Big Ten when it comes to the title of Ultimate Supreme Conference and Power Broker in collegiate athletics. This will be cut 23 from yesterday.
I think the 40,000-foot view, I would say, yeah, that's part of it. I don't think it's obviously that simple, but I do think that is a big reason why. Ed Ogeron joked, a few months ago that with the NIL now, you don't have to sneak in the back door like the old days. You can go in the front door with the cash. But I think also you look at the markets that the Big Ten teams are in, and they're in more metropolitan markets. They're in bigger cities, bigger populations, and so there's more, potential avenues for revenue. Doesn't mean you have to be in a big city. Northwestern's never won the national championship in football. They're in Chicago, or right next to Chicago, so that doesn't guarantee automatic success. But just the alumni base and everything else, now that everybody can kind of pitch in and contribute in ways that legally you never could before, I think that's been a big reason. And obviously these things go in cycles, and part of it too is the SEC, 13 national titles in 17 years in the early 2000s. I mean, that's unheard of. That'll never ever happen again. And so I think part of the thing also is the SEC is getting judged against their past success. Alabama's never going to have a stretch they had with Saban. Does that mean Alabama's not any good? No, it means they were better than anybody's ever been when Saban was there winning 6 national titles. So I just think it's a contribution, it's a combination of all that stuff.
I think the most interesting thing that was said there is that the SEC more so getting judged against their past success. And when you ran through, especially like college football specifically, right, the standard that you set for yourself was so incredibly high that doing that forever isn't necessarily sustainable, especially when the greatest coach in the history of your sport leaves, right? That opens the door for maybe more variance in the sport because, quite frankly, Nick Saban in Alabama did run a little bit of a monopoly on college football for a good portion of this century, right? And I think that does have to be taken into account. But like with other sports too, I think what explains what we've seen maybe in basketball and some other sports is that the Big Ten has done a really good job of utilizing the new markets they're in. Obviously, if this was 5 years ago, the UCLA championship in women's basketball would be going to what Bill Walton, rest in peace, would call the Conference of Champions, the Pac-12, right? And you lose some of that. Oregon helps out your profile a lot in football. And even in baseball, they've gotten a lot better, right? So it elevates your profile in baseball in a league that wasn't very good in baseball. Just add the nature of adding UCLA, Oregon, Southern Cal, helps you out a lot in that regard. Now, would they help you out in men's basketball a ton? No, but like other sports too, it kind of raises your profile a bit. And the investment of utilizing those very big markets with great recruiting bases and with a lot of corporate assistance, I think can certainly explain how the Big Ten has gone on the run they have right now. But I truly believe a lot of this will become a lot more cyclical. I don't think what the Big Ten's doing right now, which is be the best league in America, I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, they're the best league in college athletics in the year of our Lord 2026. Will it be in 2027? TBD. But right now, they certainly have an edge, and I think they're utilizing a lot of what Brett McMurphy just laid out in that clip.
Yes, that all makes sense, and I agree with that concurrently. But as SEC homer, I mean, did we not just forget what happened in the NCAA tournament last year? Right? I mean,
again, cyclical.
This thing, yes, there's somebody else that's going to be competing. There is more resources that are being spread around. There is a conversation to be had about that, but believe me, the SEC is doing okay.
Yeah, they're not hurting. I will say that. They're not hurting, maybe just ego-wise, a little bit of a bruising. But coming up next, Jen Jensen was at Augusta yesterday. We'll get her experience coming up next.
Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This hour of in-show listening on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The mad scientist is back in the lab. Bryson DeChambeau is turning heads at Augusta once again using a robot. He'll play the 2026 Masters with a 5-iron he fabricated using a 3D printer. Remember when the Masters was this old classic thing? Georgia. And now a guy is using a 3D printer to build his club? It just feels wrong. I'm Drake Toll.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Introducing Home Care Plus, a new subscription service from Lowe's that helps make life easier by giving members a hand with home maintenance. Let Lowe's tackle the tasks you keep meaning to do, like electric dryer vent cleaning, replacing hard-to-reach light bulbs, and more. Subscribe to Home Care Plus for just $99 a year and consider your to-do list done. Members get more at Lowe's. Available in select zip codes only. Cancel anytime. Non-refundable fee. Product purchase required. Terms and service restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Life matters. Take
Uncle Zeke, who lived in Muleshoe, Texas, couldn't admit he was wrong no matter what. One day, Uncle Zeke wandered into the blacksmith shop and picked up a recently discarded horseshoe. It had been tossed aside as unworkable by the blacksmith, and though it was on the ground, it was still very hot. Zeke picked it up and, of course, promptly released it. Blacksmith smiled and said, "Kind of hot, ain't it, Zeke?" Zeke's reply was classic. "Nope, just don't take me long to look at a horseshoe." One of the greatest attributes a person can have is to be able to admit when they're wrong. That means you call something in your life what it is. In fact, the New Testament word for confess means to say the same thing as God says. That means we are no longer the judge of our life. God is. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty. Remember, life matters, and so do you.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Spring Black Friday is on at the Home Depot. Save on grills and patio sets that will be sure to bring your hosting game up a notch. Fire up your feast with help from the Home Depot and save on grills. Like the Next Grill 4-burner propane gas grill was $249, now in special buy for $199. Or give everyone the best seat in the yard with the Hampton Bay Mayfield Park 4-piece conversation set for only $399. Save on grills and patio sets with low prices guaranteed during Spring Black Friday only at the Home Depot. Now through April 22nd while supplies last. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
The Early Game. With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Before we get to Jen Jensen's Masters experience, I think we have a starting quarterback.
Bring it.
Text from the Firehouse Subs text line says, chocolate, and I can throw a solid 30 yards in shorts. Congratulations, buddy. You're getting the next flight to Eugene, Oregon. You're on scholarship.
Okay.
We'll
That's
discuss
supreme.
the NIL deal later.
I love it. And will the NIL deal involve ice cream?
100%.
Should.
Okay.
It should. If not, we're not utilizing our resources correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But congratulations. Oregon has a new quarterback. Watch out, Dante Moore. There is competition at the position now.
He can throw it 30 yards.
They'll
in
pigskin
shorts.
a quarter mile. Coach would put me in fourth quarter. We'd won one state.
Throw it over the mountains over there.
No doubt in my mind. Also, no doubt in my mind, Jen Jensen had a ball yesterday. Not just a golf ball, but had a ball at Augusta. I have never had the pleasure of getting to hang out at Augusta National. And very few people get to. It is a very exclusive type deal to be able to go to the Masters. Jen Jensen was there yesterday at the practice rounds in the par 3 tournament, and I'm dying to hear what the experience was like.
You know, it's good. It's been many years since I'd been, so it was a nice opportunity to go. You forget just how hilly it is and how much I was kind of looking at my watch, and I walked over 4 miles. And and all of the walking, and again, I had my cane with me just to keep my balance a little bit, and felt it a few times, but it was good. The weather was perfect.
Yes.
Like it's going to be hot this weekend, so we really timed it well. But what I like about Wednesday, the par 3 tournament, there's a lot of family time. So like the big focus is the kids and all that. And in fact, you have Tommy Fleetwood's son Frankie, who has been trying to go over the water in the par 3 course. It's the 9th hole, and he's been trying to drive it over but they get to do that. And in fact, they had an interview last year of him trying, and I'm just going to play this like 10 seconds.
To sing this next shot on the 9th tee.
Well, I've been doing my hardest to get it over the green. I've been practicing as hard as I can. Just not reaching it this year, but I'm just trying my hardest.
And everybody is behind him.
Man.
I know.
It's adorable.
You can't beat that.
So this year he hit it. It got wet, just a little bit short. And everybody was cheering like another one. So like he teed up one more. And he really pretty much had the distance, but it kind of went to the right. So didn't quite make it. But they were cheering him on. I mean, he's 8. So, but you see all the kids in the little caddy gear, for their parents. They might be holding a flag and be just playing caddy, doing whatever. Sometimes you might even see somebody else, like the coaches might be out there, or caddies might get to chip something in for somebody. So it's just more of a family day, and I kind of like that aspect of all of it in the par 3 contest. But of course, you go and you get the storied food as far as like the egg salad or the pimento cheese that's cheap, and literally 3 pimento cheese sandwiches. I didn't eat them all. A beer and a drink was like $13.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's incredible. I took a picture of the board because it's cheap to eat. Now, obviously not to get there. And of course they have the green bags. So that, my understanding is everything is in a green bag. So, if it happened to fall, it's green, and before it got picked up. But the aesthetics is so neat. Like even the sand, they spray paint that green so that's as far as like off the course. Mm-hmm. But just everything's so immaculate and so busy. And the lines were crazy to get into the golf shop, to get souvenirs and things. Mm-hmm. They have the thing like at Disney World where, 30 minutes to the ride, or, 30 minutes to get. And so when we first got in there, it was like 60 minutes to get into So it's like, okay, well, we'll go do our thing and go watch and come back. So it was 30 minutes when we went to decide, okay, we're going to head out. So we're going to do that first. And as we're in line, everybody's so nice. Like everybody is so nice. And I'm standing there, and she said, "Ma'am, would you come out of the line?" I was like, "What'd I do? I'm just standing here." And she said, "I've got somebody with me. Can they come with?" Yep. They escorted me basically all the way around the line because I had a cane.
Nice.
Ah, yes.
I was like, and then somebody else got taken. It was like, that was just so sweet. And just very, so, one of those with me was like, "Okay, bring that next year." I said, "Well, no, I'm not going to take advantage of it." But it was...
Did you forget your cane?
Yeah.
I'm taking notes right now. Uncap the pen here. Bring cane to Augusta.
So, and anyway, it was just a really, as you would expect, everything is just flawless and well done and just pristine. And it was such a good time getting to watch the golfers and just taking it all in.
I know it's Thursday, so it's not our typical Denny Green Award Wednesday, but would you say Augusta National, they are who we thought they were?
Oh, 200%. Yeah, very good time.
Denny Green approved. 2 hours down, 1 more to go. Coming up next, it is the biggest offseason in Lamont Paris's tenure as the coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Who is he bringing in the transfer portal for a visit? Who do I think they should be able to pick up? We'll discuss some of those coming up next.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, guys, maybe you feel like you lost your edge. Brain fog has you struggling to focus. You're working out and not seeing the results that you're used to. Well, there's a reason why you're not feeling like yourself, and it might be low testosterone. But you don't just have to live with it. You can reclaim your drive, your energy, and your focus at the Men's Clinic with Dr. Dan Baltnight, who's a respected local physician. He'll get to the bottom of whatever is bothering you. Yes, a respected local physician, human being, not a bot, not a machine, not a portal, a person that will actually talk to you. At the Men's Clinic, you'll find a non-threatening, comfortable environment, and you'll address all your concerns. The best part, you get an initial consultation with Dr. Dan Baltnight for free. So don't wait. Call him at 803-875-MENS. That's 803-875-MENS. Or you can visit him online at mensclinicsc.com.
Sponsored by Credit Karma. When your money's on the line, are you okay with a basic free tax service? Get the confidence of TurboTax with free Fed and state filing on Intuit Credit Karma. Around 37% of filers qualify. Simple 1040s only. See details at turbotax.com/free.
The Gant family with Pioneer Tree Service has been taking care of trees in Columbia and surrounding areas for over 48 years. Pioneer Tree Service provides tree and shrub removal, pruning and thinning, tree planting, cabling and bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding and removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, right-of-way maintenance, and more. They also provide 24-hour emergency tree removal. They can also handle the removal of diseased and dead trees before an emergency happens. Call them today for a free estimate. 803-794-8253. The Gant family and their team at Pioneer Tree Service can be trusted to provide professional and quality tree services with affordable pricing for residential or commercial jobs. Ashton Smith called Pioneer Tree Service and said they came when she was leaving for work, and when she got home, the tree was gone, as if it was never there. She was so impressed with Pioneer Tree Service, she will definitely use them again. Here's one of the Gant girls, Madison Gant.
Call us today for a free estimate at 803-794-8253 or check us out online at pioneertreesc.com.
At Average Al's Furniture Warehouse, our sofas have cushions, our tables have 4 legs, our recliners recline. So come on by for a perfectly average experience.
Cumulus Digital doesn't stop at average. We work with more than 4,000 local businesses every month, delivering campaigns that beat industry averages by over 25%, driving real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Start your spring cleaning with Zerorez. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $109 plus a free hallway. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts. Plus, now you can also take $100 off air duct cleaning and breathe cleaner air. Visit ZerorezColumbia.com.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow, or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
No accidents at this time, and we appreciate that very much. Still some slowdown coming in on I-26 eastbound as you're approaching I-20, but no accidents slowing things down. So great news there. The forecast looking really very nice. Cloudy today, 71 for the high. We will have that overnight low of 46. It'll be chilly again in the morning, but then 78 will be our high tomorrow, and we'll have sunshine for days for the weekend. 85 Saturday and 85 on Sunday. Right now, though, it's 43 on 107.5 The Game.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell. Let's get it. And Jen Jensen. On the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Hour number 3 of the early game, also known as the early game third and long hour, starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. Our man Randy Young's walking around here. And Rachel's in the video production room here at Studio 803, which is our lovely podcasting studio that we broadcast the third hour of the show from every single day. And, of course, you can see it on our YouTube page at The Game TV Radio. Or if you just go to YouTube and you just go to the search bar and you go 107.5 The Game, you'll find it pretty easily that way. And we got a lot to cover, right? I mean, coming up next, David Cloninger from the Post and Courier is going to join us to talk about some of the men's basketball transfer portal latest, the latest with Medina Okot, now that she is confirmed not to be coming back for next year. What's this women's basketball team going to look like when it comes to attempting to get back to their what would be their 7th straight Final Four and a 3rd straight national championship game? We'll talk to David about that. And for the early game, third long hour goes deep. Part 4 of our series on losing in championship games. What does the breakthrough look like for habitual championship game losers, historically speaking, and how do they get over that final hump? But we're going to start the early game third and long hour by discussing the men's basketball program and what they need to do to be able to get back into the NCAA tournament, and for Lamont Paris to ensure that he is back for the 27-28 28 season. Now, we do know he will be returning for this next year. And after 2 straight years of winning 2 games in the SEC and then 4 games the next season, there's clearly some improvement needed. The rest of the league is upping what they're doing in terms of paying their roster and in financial investment in the roster. South Carolina Athletic Director Jeremiah Donati went ahead and established the fact that we will be spending more money in the men's basketball program this year to be more competitive, to give Lamont Paris and his coaching staff more of a chance to compete in the SEC. But if you do get $9 to $10 million and you get to allocate enough money that would be average in the SEC, can you still build a roster that will be competitive in a league that has taken basketball a lot more seriously? And that's what makes this such a big offseason. And right now we do have one reported visit. And this is by GamecockCentral.com. Inside the Gamecocks, people were reporting on Corey Mincy, a guard from George Mason, previously at Presbyterian.
Ding, 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 ding. I didn't know the name. I didn't know George Mason. I do remember a kid from PC a couple years ago lighting us up. And when you made those connections, I was like, oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that kid. Yeah, because in December of 2024, his final season at Presbyterian, he went off for 27 at CLA against South Carolina and really gave Carolina a scare. I remember keeping up with that game because I was in Orlando for the Citrus Bowl and being like, wait a minute, PC's hanging around. And then you look at that box score and you're like, oh, this Corey Mincy kid's raining threes and dropping buckets in the middle of this game. Good score. And now if you look at some of the numbers overall, I mean, the high shooting numbers, I would say, are sustainable. He played a really important role in George Mason because they didn't have a ton of three-point shooters on that team. I think only 2 players attempted more than 100 threes, Corey Mincy being one of them, but he made almost 39% of his threes, 38% and some change.
Now you said the word sustainable. Why did you pick that word sustainable as far as his shooting is concerned?
Because a lot of times when you're evaluating players, you can see a 3-point percentage number, and whether it's either incredibly low or incredibly high, you can usually look at something like free throw percentage to see whether or not something is sustainable or if there is reasonable room for growth, right? So if I am evaluating a player who is a 27% three-point shooter, but they have a decent form, and they're making over 75% of their free throws, you can reasonably say that that player will improve when it comes to the three-point percentage. NBA teams do this a lot. College basketball teams do this a lot. Usually the free throw percentage and three-point percentage will correlate really well. So if one's low, if the three-point percentage is low but the free throw percentage is high, then there is room for some upward mobility there. But if you're a 27% three-point shooter and you're like a 64% free throw shooter, it's probably not a realistic ask to ask you to become Reggie Miller, right? That isn't going to happen. But with Corey Mincy, he's an 88% free throw shooter, which tells me that even that 38% number can increase, right? You can maybe even get him into the 40s at some point in his career. I would like the potential addition of Corey Mincy if they're able to seal the deal and bring him. And you asked a really good question in the first hour as to whether or not he should be the meat or the potatoes of the transfer portal class. I firmly believe potatoes is the correct answer. Because while I do like what he does from a shooting perspective, and you can never have too many shooters. Probably the best way of phrasing that. You need somebody as your prize portal get to be able to do a lot of different things, right? Higher assist rate, high rebounding rate, really good on the defensive end. I need to watch Mincy more on the defensive end to see exactly how well the fit is, but George Mason was a good defensive team. So if you're logging a lot of minutes on a really good defensive team, there's a chance that you can at least play good team defense, right? But I would like for a player like Corey Mincy to be somebody that you're being able to bring in off the bench.
Yeah, so again, in my caveman brain, if we're thinking about assembling a team like it's assembling a meal, the sides make the meal, right? You want to have great sides to make a meal
yes.
great. However, you do need a centerpiece. It might be an actual center.
It could be an actual center.
It could be an actual center, but you need to have something that the sides are based around that make them make them be excellent, right? You can't go to a place, man, they got great barbecue to the sides.
Right.
I don't really love that. Or the other way around. Say, yeah, man, you go to the side, but when you get to the main deal, it's not that great. So that's how I put together a team in my mind, especially basketball. When you say Corey is a player that would be an excellent side for what we want to accomplish for a team, especially when you talk about him being 40%, that's awesome.
And when it comes to maybe like a potential actual centerpiece, right? Reportedly, I think this is from Inside the Gamecocks and J.C. Sherbert talking about maybe reporting on what they've been told is a very highly valued target for this team in the transfer portal. One of them being Samet Yigitoglu, right? Player of Turkish descent, played at SMU last season. 7'2", so the size is certainly there. This is a team last year at South Carolina that had a really hard time rebounding the ball, right? They weren't a great offensive rebounding team, and there were some games where they gave up a lot of offensive rebounds defensively, right? And that makes things significantly hard. We talk about the importance of offensive rebounding, and even when you have bad shooting days, that can help you translate bad shooting days into wins. But when it comes to somebody like Yigitoglu, 7'2" center, 63% two-point shooter. But my favorite part is he is top 50 in the country this past year in offensive rebound percentage, grabbing almost 15% of what this team, of what the misses were for his team. We will go ahead and take a quick break. Some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. We'll take a quick break. We'll continue this discussion on the other side, and then at 8:15, we'll give our pal David Cloninger from the Post and Courier a call to talk about a lot of what we're discussing right now with the men's basketball program, what they're going to be looking for in the transfer portal, and with Medina Okot not going to be back next year, what's this South Carolina women's basketball front court going to look like? So we'll talk with DC and finish this discussion on the other side as you're listening to the Early Game Third and Long Hour.
All my sports.
The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Especially here for our friends that you needed to get yourself ready. Well, guess what? The spring is here, summer's on the way, and with summer's on the way, that means football season is almost here. And the folks from Integrated Media can help you get set up with your outdoor setup. What does your outdoor setup look like? Samsung Terrace TVs that are waterproof, Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors, or my personal favorite, controlling all your devices from just one remote. So from home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is who you need to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or you can reach them online at integratedmediainc.com.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. Like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Sparkle Smash, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Coming to Colonial Life Arena April 18th and 19th. Brought to you by BKT Tires and Texas Roadhouse. Lock in your seats today at monsterjam.com.
Plus tax and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details.
Holy cow!
cow! JT's Jeep Ram has new Grand Cherokees from $29,990. How about $5,000 more for your trade? 0% for 72 months. A 1,000,000-mile warranty on every new JT's vehicle. Even if your credit's a little cockeyed, JT will get you approved and save you money too. Drive a new Grand Cherokee for $29,990 with a 1,000,000-mile warranty. JT's Jeep Ram 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Declaration of Deal Sales Event.
Join the Lexington Health Foundation on Friday, May 1st at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center for the McDaniels Gala. Dress your black tie best and enjoy delicious food, open bars with signature cocktails, specialty tasting rooms, exciting auctions, fun photos, and more. Proceeds benefit the McDaniels Pucci Cancer Fund to support patients and families at Lexington Health Cancer Center from diagnosis to survivorship. Purchase your tickets today at lexhealth.com/McDanielsGala.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
When you're looking for Gamecock merchandise, always think Gamecock Traditions. Style, selection, quality, and the absolute best pricing. That's always the Gamecock Traditions way. Right now, score Champion crew neck sweats for just $44.99. Need a hoodie? Champion hooded sweats are only $54.99. That's $8 to $10 less than any other Gamecock store. And they keep them in stock. Sizes small through triple extra large, all the best colors. Gamecock Traditions in Lexington, Sand Hills Village, or online at GamecockTraditions.com. Great gear, better prices always.
Darius Rucker is coming home to Columbia. The country music superstar and longtime Gamecock supporter will be joined by Lauren Elena to headline the Garnet and Black Spring Fest on Saturday, April 11th at Colonial Life Arena. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Come out early for the free pre-concert block party, featuring a meet and greet with football student athletes, food, games for kids, and more. For more information on the Garnet and Black Spring Fest, visit GamecocksOnline.com.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
No accidents at this time, so it's a good Thursday morning for sure, and it will be warming up, so that's something to look forward to. 71 for the high today, overnight low 46. Sunshine then tomorrow through the weekend. 78 tomorrow, mid-80s for the weekend. Still a chilly start, still need that jacket. 43 right now on 107.5 The Game.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Young career, I have sometimes radio shows work both. When you can hear both participants in the show. And I can't confirm we got Preston back.
What up?
Thanks for all the heads up on the Firehouse Subs text line. And shout out to my man, Brad Muller, who did text me and say, hey, we can't hear Preston. I appreciate that.
I wonder if you could go back in and fill in the context with your answers to my questions. Nobody's like, what did he just ask? And I'm over here, you missed my whole diatribe talking about meals and sides and then, like hash and rice. Trust me, it was on the topic.
It was, yes. It absolutely was. I guess we'll just never know.
We'll never know.
It's going to be one of radio's greatest mysteries.
It's all good. Appreciate y'all.
I guess we will just never know. We'll have to get Brad Muller in studio to talk rugby, talk about Nef Jiwa and how well that can translate to a football field. Still very curious about that. For those who don't know, Brad Muller, not just the great voice of the women's basketball team you hear on the radio, but a superb South Carolina rugby player back in his day as well. But we also have a call, 803-404-6100. That is the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Our man Keith is on the line. Wanted to hop in on this men's basketball discussion. Good morning, Keith. Welcome to the early game.
Good morning. I hope y'all doing well. Can you hear me okay? Because I know we were having a little technical problem earlier.
Oh, yeah. You sound wonderful.
Yeah. Looking at the men's basketball and what Donati said, and I mean, y'all watch Connecticut, Michigan. I mean, my gosh, it was just obvious the physicality and overall play of those two teams. And, looking at what we had this year, the Scott kid I thought had potential, but there wasn't a lot of bright spots. And, I'm just curious, what does he mean we're going to give him more money? Because I'm going to tell you, they're going to have to give him a whole lot more. Because, I mean, realistically, on that roster, who would you keep with all due respect to the young men? I mean, it's almost like a total clean of house, other than maybe one or two. And the kid you're talking about, he's probably a two guard if they get him, don't you think? Not a one guard.
Yeah,
so
two guard's more of his suit.
Yeah, two guard, and if they get the big kid, maybe it's the starting point. But I just didn't get the sense. It's almost like, well, we're going to give them more resources, but more probably ain't enough. So, just curious on that. Y'all have a great day. Appreciate it. Enjoy it every morning.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk to you.
That's how I feel when I look at my bank account. Like, more is not enough.
Yeah, right. You give me more, but I don't know if we're going to reach enough, right? And to Keith's point, too, I think that's why you did see such a mass exodus in the transfer portal. And we liken the transfer portal to a swimming pool, right? Some people jump into the transfer portal. Some people get pushed in. I think there was maybe some pushing in because you do kind of have to just press the restart button. Again, with all due respect to those players, I think everybody would be better suited if we did kind of just start fresh. And that's the kind of to Keith's point, too, is more money enough? Because it's one thing to allocate an additional $5 million potentially to your roster, doubling what you spent last year, if you're needing 3 or 4 players to come in and supplement what you already have. It's different to spread out, let's just say 10. Just for the purposes of the discussion, let's just say 10 is what they're working with. $10 million to stretch out over 9 spots on the roster, a little harder to do potentially than maybe a school like Michigan, who brought back a few players, upped their NIL allocation, and then got 3 big fish in the transfer portal, and then that helped obviously lead them to a national championship. So
something to look for, as you say that, you talk about spreading that over the area, over the time, is this idea that, and I think Cal brought this up, this concept of maybe not carrying as many players on the roster.
Yeah.
That's something that you might start seeing a lot of teams start doing. We're not going to carry 12 to 15 men. Maybe we have a 10-man, 12-man roster instead of that 15-man roster.
Yeah, you might see more walk-ons on the bench, and maybe a rotation of only 7 players. Harder to manage for coaches, but also that does kind of get into a larger discussion of roster building, right? Do you allocate more to star players, make sure you have an incredibly strong starting 5? Now, what that does is make you more prone, if injuries happen, to have your season be derailed. Or do you space it out to where you can rely upon 3 or 4 players off the bench to give you a deeper team, to where you might not have the same high-end starting 5 with a higher ceiling, but you're maybe a little more injury-proof, you're maybe able to handle that type of adversity? A lot of those questions can be answered by our man David Cloninger from the Post and Courier. David joins us now right on time. Our man David, always good to have him on. But David, first question, before we get to anything basketball related, chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
I was always more of a orange sherbet fan myself, so
no quarterback game for him.
That's the only thing orange I can stand.
Nope. It looks like David Cloninger will not be the quarterback at the University of Oregon. Nope. So he might have to take his eligibility elsewhere, if he has eligibility. David, do you have any eligibility left?
I probably could find a few years or so if I wanted to, but I don't know. I mean, my knees never could hold up that well.
I will say, the orange sherbet having more of a moment than I thought, because you are not the first one to stay. We had sorbet, we've had sherbet, so congratulations. The palate cleansers, they may be early winners.
It is, yeah, because we did ask everybody that question, David Cloninger. We got a lot of submissions on the Firehouse Subs text line, and there is more orange in there than I ever foresaw. So maybe more popular than I would have guessed. Not my favorite.
Well, it's the only orange I can stand, but at least I get some solace about there by eating it. So.
At least there's some positive connotation with the color orange for David Cloninger. And David, the big news, I guess, for this women's basketball team, falling just short of a national title. No Medina Okot. She will be going to the WNBA draft. You look at this team for next year. I've already kind of come to the conclusion that it's going to be a preseason top 3 team once again. And I don't know about you, but I'm still, even with the long offseason we have ahead, we don't know what they're going to do in the transfer portal, but I'm banking on spending my first weekend in April in Columbus, Ohio.
It's probably a good bet, Elijah. I mean, they're still going to be loaded with talent, and that's even before they start portal shopping, which they will be doing, obviously. They do have 3 spots to fill if they want to fill those 3 spots. I mean, Dawn Staley has usually preferred to not carry a full 15, but we'll see how it goes because 2 of the recruits coming in have been coming off surgery. We'll see how that maybe affects the buildup of this roster for next year. But you do have Chloe Kitts coming back fully healthy. Signs are pointing toward Ashton Watkins returning as well. You do have Joyce Edwards, and that's going to be a heck of a good front court. And then you have Maddie McDaniel coming to lead the point with Tessa Johnson beside her. So you kind of have your starting 5 all ready. But, of course, we all know that, this team plays everybody. They like to rotate everybody in. So they're going to have another very talented team next year.
And when it comes to maybe adding transfer portal pieces, you mentioned Dawn doesn't usually love to use all 15 spots. And there's already a lot of returners. Is there a chance that she does go to the portal to get 1 or 2 players? And if so, at what positions do you think are the ones of need that she would actually address that?
Well, she already mentioned it, Elijah, after the Final Four. They need to get some guard depth. Maybe another point guard, just because you don't want to go into a season with just one. I think Maddie McDaniel has definitely earned a look at that starting spot, and she's already working hard toward earning that spot and cementing it, but you always will need somebody else to come in and handle the ball for you. So they'll go out there to look for some guards, and, of course, South Carolina's in a spot, Elijah, where they could be picky. There's going to be a lot of interest from players in the portal wanting to come to South Carolina, and South Carolina could pick and choose and say, okay, we're interested too, but who are the best players that we can use?
David Cloninger from the Post and Courier is with us right now. And, David, I'm about to drop the understatement of the day. This is the biggest offseason of Lamont Paris's coaching career. All right, understatement out of the way. What have you guys heard so far in terms of the extent in which the financial commitment will be upped for this basketball team, and where do you think they even begin to start addressing certain needs and building a roster almost from scratch here in this transfer portal?
Well, first, Elijah, with the finances, I realize this won't make much sense to people who don't know what the commitment was for this year. I don't think it will be quite doubled. I do think it will be in the double figures, which frankly is just what you need to compete at this level. So they're going to get a lot more money, and that's always good. But then you look back at last year and say, well, they got a lot more money last year from the year before, and look what that team built. So the main thing they need to do, Elijah, is just get much, much, much better player evaluation. This year's roster was not scouted very well, and it showed on the floor. So they have to really go get everything. If my math is correct, and if nobody's entered the time I've been asleep, they've got 3 players for next year. So at this point, it's just, who do you need? Everybody. You need 1 through 5. Just go get everybody that you possibly can. And it's kind of rough to have to do it this way, but you can't necessarily worry about team chemistry or can they pick up our system right now. You got to go get players. You've got to get players, and then you're going to have to start teaching them how to play Lamont's system and how to get them to all get along with each other. So at this point, it's just scout as much as you can, do as much due diligence as you can, but go get players.
now this is just kind of a random follow-up that kind of just popped in my head. Do they have the international trip this year in the off season, or is that still a year away?
Let's see. When was the Costa Rica trip or the Bahamas trip? That was before the tournament year.
Yes.
That was year 2, so 3, 4, 5. I don't believe they do. I don't think that 4 years has elapsed. But numbers were never my strong suit. So they did take one before the tournament year. So if this is going to be year 5, I don't believe that they would have that for sure.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, because I know we were in those press conference rooms. They definitely talked about that a lot in terms of helping everybody kind of gel and bond a little bit. But that would have been nice. But I guess might have to wait one more year for that trip to get to happen. But in terms of Gamecock basketball, too, not affiliated with the program anymore, but Mike Boynton is now a national champion as an assistant coach over at Michigan. Remarkable season they had. This might be one of the best seasons any team has had in the history of the Big Ten. And David Cloninger, that conference has had some really, really good basketball teams. Mike Boynton as a coach pushed out of Oklahoma State, but goes to Michigan, and Dusty May has been very complimentary as to what he brought there. How happy are you for Mike Boynton to be able to get back into a really good coaching spot and as the main assistant for a national championship team?
I'm so happy for him, so proud of him. Mike, he was always one of my favorites when he played, and he was obviously an assistant coach here for a little bit as well. And, he kind of made his bones, if you will, all over the state. He helped out at Furman as well. And then, of course, he went with Brad Underwood to start, his big-time coaching career, if you want to call it that. But just so happy for him. I texted him, and I'm sure he's got about 1,000 text messages to weed through after the game. But, just a terrific guy. And I kind of know where you're leading up to here, Mike, to Elijah. But, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But he's a great guy. His family's terrific. I know they're very happy right now. He met his wife here, and her family, I believe, is in that area near Ann Arbor. I believe they're near Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. So he's in a great spot, and now he's going to have a nice big shiny ring on his finger.
Yeah, I was going to say, every story is a local story if you find the angle, and the angle for the men's basketball story is former Gamecock Mike Boynton getting a ring. That's David Cloninger from the Post and Courier. David, appreciate your time as always, and look forward to seeing you again here soon.
Appreciate you, Elijah. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff, David Cloninger. You can follow him at DC at PC on Twitter. If I could speak today, that'd be great. But coming up next, though, it's the early game, third and long hour goes deep. And this week we've been talking about teams that make the national championship game or the Super Bowl or the World Series, NBA Finals, whatever the championship is, and lose. Now, we've gone through the teams that find their ways to go back, teams that never end up going back. But today for part 4, I wanted to talk about the breakthrough. Because think of some of these names of some of the greatest athletes in the history of sports. Jerry West, LeBron James, John Elway. Or great teams, right? Like the 90s Braves. Teams that would lose in that spot often, but ended up having a breakthrough that changed things for the better. We'll discuss how they were able to do that coming up next year in the early game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
Hey, it's Jen. Are you doing some updates in your home? Maybe needing some countertops or vanities, showers, tub surrounds, fireplaces, or even thinking about doing some custom hardscapes? Look no further than Carolina Stone Craftsman in Chapin. They are family owned and operated. That means that you deal with the owners directly. And they've been serving the Columbia area for over 2 decades, which means not only do they know the product, they know the market, and they know their customers. They offer full fabrication where they cut, shape, and install. So you have a conversation with them like we did when we were updating some bathrooms. We talked to them about everything, picked out the countertops, and then they shaped them, installed them, and every step of the process was great. If you have projects coming up in your home, reach out to Carolina Stone Craftsman, 803-408-3456. And, of course, tell them Jen sent you. Carolina Stone Craftsman, beyond Columbia in Chapin, and I assure you, beyond your expectations. Check them out online, carolinastonecraftsman.com.
Sponsored by the Blood Connection.
Most assume that someone else will show up, but only 3% of the population donates blood. That's not enough. Make the call to give and save a life. Donate blood with The Blood Connection, your community blood center. Visit thebloodconnection.org to find a nearby donation center.
Plus tax and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details. Holy cow! JT's Jeep Ram has new Grand Cherokees from $29,990. How about $5,000 more for your trade? 0% for 72 months. A 1,000,000-mile warranty on every new JT's vehicle. Even if your credit's a little cockeyed, JT will get you approved and save you money too. Drive a new Grand Cherokee for $29,990 with a 1,000,000-mile warranty. JT's Jeep Ram 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Declaration of Deal Sales Event.
Start your spring cleaning with Zerorez. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $109 plus a free hallway. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just a deeper clean that lasts. Plus, now you can also take $100 off air duct cleaning and breathe cleaner air. Visit ZerorezColumbia.com.
The Colonial Life Charity Classic is coming to the Wood Creek Club right here in Columbia, May 14th through the 17th. This is your chance to watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars up close. Before Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler were household names, they were right here on the Korn Ferry Tour. This is where the journey begins. Every shot bringing them closer to the PGA Tour. Tomorrow's champions are teeing it up today. Get your tickets now for the Colonial Life Charity Classic.
Hey, that was our exit. We're gonna miss the first pitch.
Just gotta make a stop at Kroger. I promised I'd bring nachos.
Nice. You have the Upside app too, right?
Upside? What's that?
Upside is a free app that gets you cash back when you buy groceries. And they just added Kroger stores in Columbia.
Wait, I can get money back just for buying groceries?
Yep. And right now, you can get an extra $10 bonus on your first Kroger trip with the app. That's up to $25 cash back on one grocery run.
Even this Kroger store right here?
Yes. Now pull over. Let's get some cash back on those nachos.
Upside is now available for Kroger stores in the Columbia area. Download the free Upside app and use promo code FAM3 to get a $10 bonus on your first purchase at Kroger. That's promo code FAM3. Remember, use promo code FAM3.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit cordellcordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Well, we do have a few accidents to make you aware of. Garner's Ferry Road between the Congaree Road and Old Eastover. Also in downtown Columbia, Whaley near Wayne Street. And Bush River Road at Broad River Road. 71's the high we're looking for today, and overnight low of about 46. Warming trends, I should say, are on their way. We are looking for high tomorrow, 78, and then 85 on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to stay up in that region for several days after that. But right now, chilly start, 44 on 107.5 The Game.
Early game. With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on
YouTube. The early game third and long hour goes deep. And this week we've been talking about teams that lose in their championship games or in the pros championship series, if it's baseball, basketball, or hockey. And what it takes to get back to that point and how some teams just never do, right? And this is coming on the heels of the South Carolina women's basketball team losing in the national championship game for the second straight year. Now, I know we all pretty much feel confident that they're going to be back to that spot, but I wanted to take a deep dive this week through a lot of different examples. Again, teams that go back, teams that never do, but also teams that, and players specifically, that it takes a while to lose and losing in that spot for a few years before ultimately having the breakthrough. And that's what today's part is titled, The Breakthrough. And the ultimate example of this, Preston Thorne, is someone like Jerry West. Jerry West lost 8 NBA finals with the Los Angeles Lakers before they finally won one. It takes a lot to get back, right? He would fit in that category of going back on a year-to-year basis, but still didn't get that breakthrough to winning it until they finally did it after 8 tries.
Yeah, and to that point, we sometimes we do book recommendations. Jerry West autobiography. The title of it is My Charmed, Tormented Life. Part of the torment was those 8 losses. Mm-hmm. And he is very chronicled. He dealt with a lot of depression, a lot of things like that. Obviously some things that were prior to this.
Yes.
But that did not help.
No.
It did not help the situation. And obviously being a great player, it's really unfortunate, unfair, but that's just the way it is that until you get over that hump, you can't be considered one of the ones.
Right.
It doesn't that's just how it is. And that's not even the thing. We've gotten into what we call rings culture but Jerry West dealt with this back then.
He did.
And that was part of the knock on him, was that he just can't win the big one, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, it is an issue, but you have to get that breakthrough to get over the hump.
And that's one of the wild things about like sports and society is as much as we change, sometimes some things are going to remain the same.
Mm-hmm.
Quite like get the knock on Jerry West being that he never won one. And if he never won that one title, who knows how he is discussed, right, when it comes to his place in basketball history. Like, I know how we think of the 90s Buffalo Bills. No one thinks of them as a dynasty because they never won a Super Bowl. But going to 4 straight is insanely impressive. Mm-hmm. That is such a hard feat to do that gets lost in the shuffle with how great they are because they just never won that last game.
To that point, we always knew that John Elway was one of the greatest quarterbacks. We knew that. But his reputation to a point was he cannot win the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not till the end when, surprise, surprise, much like Peyton Manning, he kind of rides the back of his running game, and he wins the championship. And now now all of a sudden it's like we can go back and say, oh yeah, he was great because he got that championship later in his career.
And especially like in team sports too, there are things that prevent you maybe from winning it all. That's not all your fault, right? And with John Elway, you could say there was some not his fault, right? He got a 10-0 lead in the Super Bowl, then Doug Williams goes berserk and has one of the greatest games in the history of that great event. He lost a Super Bowl to Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers. No shame in that for someone like John Elway. And he won his 2 Super Bowls in the 2 years where he wasn't the John Elway that made him a Hall of Famer, right? You talk about Peyton Manning. He's got 2 Super Bowl championships. But realistically, he was the best player on only one of them because he was a shell of himself whenever he won the last one. But on the resume, it says 2, and that's how it's remembered forever, even though that second one was not the Peyton Manning you remember, right? And he ends up going out on top and winning that way. And Peyton was one of those guys, maybe not because he won his first Super Bowl. It doesn't completely apply here, but there was a breakthrough needed where he could get past the New England Patriots obstacle.
There was some dude in the way.
Yeah, there was that dude in the way. I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to the breakthrough too, is you have to be able usually to overcome the greatest obstacle in the sport. For Jerry West and the Lakers, that was Bill Russell and the Boston Celtics.
Oh yeah, that guy is in the way again.
Yeah, a guy who has more championship rings than he has fingers to put the rings on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That pretty big obstacle to beat. And if you want to relay this back to South Carolina too, if you look at some of the losses they've had, it's been to the buzzsaw obstacle. UConn last year. UCLA was the one kind of hiding in plain sight, right? But we're going to look back on that UCLA team as one of the great teams in college basketball.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, before that, when they didn't get to the championship, they lost to the most wildest college basketball phenomenon we've seen in Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Right? So in 3 straight years, they've kind of met the story. They've been the foe for the story of the season.
Exactly. And I think that is a big part of this when we look about, the great players and great teams that continuously go back when they have their quote-unquote failures or shortcomings in these title game events. It's usually because somebody was just better that day, or you run into the behemoth of the sport. And really, one of the only examples where it's not necessarily that way, like LeBron James is an example. Now, that Spurs team that they got beat by when he was in Cleveland, great basketball team. That Dallas Mavericks team that he lost to in Miami, they should not have lost to, right? And he's been very open about how his public perception kind of affected him a little bit, because that first year in Miami, he was looked at as a villain. He was the most hated athlete on planet Earth.
The most unconvincing villain there's been.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, LeBron, that's not you, dog. You're not doing this. We don't buy it. We don't believe you.
And at that point in time, he was only 25, and still, kind of sensitive to what his public perception was. And that affected his play. And he had the worst series in his playoff career. In that series, in that finals, he has to kind of make like a mental transformation and a mental evolution to get past the own block and obstacle that he put in his own way. And then once he did that, he won back-to-back, and he's won 4 in his career now, and no one ever looks at him as like some type of choke artist because he's won 4 championships.
Right.
You can't ever say that about him.
Right, because in that same frame of mind, one of the arguments they use against him is that he's only won 4 out of the 8 that he's been to.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Sorry. Yeah. You go to that many. Sorry, you're a winner. And you dominate one conference the way that you have.
And again, not to throw flames on the whole show. We've had a great show, but I got to say it. That block, Game 7, to win the championship is my, I won't even say best. It's my favorite play. Favorite basketball play ever.
Yeah.
I won't say best because you can do whatever you want with that. But in that moment, to make that play on defense, it is wild.
Well, you can make it a case that's the most important play in the history of that league.
I listen, I'm here for whatever, forever.
I could do 3 hours on why that's the most important play in the history of that league.
Here for it.
But when it comes to how we talk about like those athletes, and if we want to turn around to coaches too, to keep localizing this with Dawn Staley in the Gamecocks, she's already won 3. You can't say she can't win the big one, or the program can't win the big one. Anything that comes up in that regard is silly because she's won 3. Right? She's already done it a few times and will continue to do more. I don't think she's going to end her career with just 3 national
I don't think so either. But also when you look at those 3, you look at the years. It's 2017 and then 2022. Now, obviously, we if we're going to take the UCF, we can take that 2020 banner and hang it.
They were unanimous number 1 in the AP poll.
If we want to hang that one. But there's still, even with the retrospect, even looking back in history, there's still gaps in between these championships, and that's just how dynasties go.
Yeah, because sometimes in the sport too, you look at the rise of other teams in these sports, in these instances, in the NFL, in John Elway's case, in the NBA, maybe with a LeBron James case, in the 90s with the Braves in baseball, they lost to multiple different teams.
Man, so we keep coming back to it. But in that 2020 season, it was going to be Sabrina Ionescu. That's who it was. That was the collision course
that was
we
the
were
obstacle.
Rolling.
Yeah,
and that's what it was going to be. So again, the Gamecocks were going to meet the story of that season, and unfortunately, they didn't get to do that. But you've seen over time that they are consistently in the conversation, and that's what I think a real dynasty is.
And that's the best part of the brilliance of the breakthrough of the athlete or the coach, is that even if you are a loser on the biggest stage, you will eventually become a winner because you just have that championship DNA. But we'll give you our winners for today's show, brought to you by the Golden Spur, coming up next.
The Game Network, 107.5 The Game in Columbia, 96.9 The Game in Charleston, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
South Carolina head baseball coach Paul Maneri has been let go. Monty Lee is the interim coach, and possible candidates are already emerging.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. We're in week 11, and we're already talking about jobs. What a world we're in.
Keep it here on The Game as we follow every rumor. Every rumor. Girlfriend.
No fluff. No filler. That's good enough for me.
Your home of all Gamecocks gossip. 107.5 The Game and The Game Network.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
It is day 2 of the Sedona scandal. Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini firing back after Page 6 published photos of the pair at a luxury Arizona resort locking hands, hugging in the hot tub together. They said, hey, look, it's a group hangout with friends. Despite the denial, the NFL world is buzzing. Top insider, NFL coach? Oof, I'm Drake Toll.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois. This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Ultra-processed foods. They've been under the microscope quite a bit lately. What they are, whether they're safe, and how they might be impacting our health. I recently took note of 2 studies out of France that found common preservatives used to keep food safe and extend shelf life may also be linked to a higher risk of several cancers and even type 2 diabetes. The scientists were looking at dozens of preservatives, so I'm not going to name all of them here. And let's be honest, you're probably not going to start scrutinizing every label at the grocery store. But I think the good reminder here is that you want to be eating fresh, whole, minimally processed foods. The Mediterranean diet is probably really the best that you can do. It's lots of fruits and lots of veggies and whole grains and nuts and seeds and even some seafood. Very little red meat, very little added sugars, very few processed foods. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
It's more about them than it is about the team. Cannot play with them. Cannot win with them. Cannot coach with them. Can't do it. I want winners. Winners.
And every day, we give you our Winners of the Day show, brought to you by the Golden Spur. And based off the discussion we had in the second hour of the show, I gotta say, Preston Thorne, ice cream is the winner of the show.
Always.
The golden winner of today's show.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you missed it, we played the clip in the morning meeting of Oregon's quarterback coach. I cannot pronounce his name, so we're going to run the check down here.
Coach KK.
I'm not going to force an incompletion or interception here. Coach KK says, if I ask a quarterback chocolate or vanilla ice cream and they don't answer decisively and they hesitate, can't take them as my quarterback.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Cannot win with them. Cannot coach with them. Can't do it. And that's exactly how he would have ended that.
Apparently, to Coach K, you have to be decisive. And he said, I don't care what you choose, but you just have to make a choice. We've had several rebuttals for that. We've had folks texting in your favorites. Most of you are obviously not decisive enough, or you ask too many questions because most of you all cannot play for Coach KK. Though we did have somebody who said decisively chocolate, and they could throw the ball 30 yards. So I guess we've found one quarterback.
Even better, in shorts. He is a decisive Zach Wilson.
But you know what? For my winner, I'm going to go with mint chocolate chip, my favorite ice cream flavor.
Yeah.
Elijah gave me the.
Like, I have to really be in the mood for it, for any type of, like, mint chocolate chip anything.
It depends on the brand. I can't give a definitive any of that because the brand makes a difference.
It's one of those flavors, I guess, that is not dominant across all platforms, maybe.
But here's the real secret. Mint chocolate chip has become my favorite ice cream flavor. And what I'm just wondering is it because my significant other hates mint? So when I get mint chocolate ice cream, I know it's all mine.
Oh,
it's a treat.
There you go.
Strategy.
Story is out.
Oh, this is chestnut checkers.
See, that was my favorite as a kid.
I will say, me and my significant other, if we do have ice cream, it's one we both like. It is a battle for resources.
It gets weird. See?
It gets biological, right? Like, we're fighting over resources here. I can see the appeal now. I could see the appeal. Maybe that's why I like caramel so much more. She likes caramel. She doesn't love it. I love it. And I know she's not going to want a sip of my caramel milkshake if that's what I'm doing.
As you meld together, as your life start to blend, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I bring the extra spicy ones and you don't like spice? Oh, man.
Oh, I must not have read the label well. That's on me.
So I'll be sending this clip to both of them to let them hear here.
Oh, no!
I thought this was a trust circle. Nobody else
has heard this.
Yeah, I thought we were just having a conversation between three friends here.
Yeah, I don't know, but see, I gotta kind of do I protect, my
protect the bread. Protect the bread.
Oh no! Please don't tell them now.
I know they will not have access to this if I keep it to myself. We're safe.
Thank you.
Now that means we have to be extra nice to Jen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now we falling into another trap.
Preston's wife's coming home. She's like, you know what? I'm really in the mood for some mint chocolate chip ice cream for some reason.
No, I'm good on that. Yeah, she doesn't. Matter of fact, like, it has to be in a separate container. She can't stand it at all, which is A1 for your boy.
Perfect.
Which is very much so. Good news for you in that regard. But also, winner for today's show, getting roasted in the NFL scouting report. Because you missed it. We started off the show talking about Dane Brugler's assessment of Brandon Cisse. And Dane Brugler does a phenomenal job. Like, he is my favorite in this field, so don't get that misconstrued. What I'm saying is, if there is anything about your body that is mildly different, it's going to be highlighted in a draft scouting report, because when we talked about Brandon Cisse, the first bullet point under weaknesses is slender body type with narrow torso, lean limbs, and small hands. And I'm like, damn, Dane, you don't have to do that. Like, what would mine have been? It'd been like, will blow away if you open a door in mildly windy weather. He did not break the 145-pound mark despite being 6'4" until he started drinking beer in college.
To add on to that, not only did he say that he has a small torso now, but he said, back in JV, you was a shrimp. You were 5'6" and 125. How'd you make it?
Like, the discourse, the discourse around, like, Ruben Bain's arm length, right? Like, the guy's clearly a baller, right?
Yeah, but it gets weird.
But it will get to some really weird lengths when it's talking about, or when anybody that's in these draft circles starts talking about projections at the next level. So much of that is your body as symmetrical as anybody else's?
I feel like now I have to go through this and just find the most outrageous roast of people throughout this concept.
That might be the homework assignment, is finding the most outrageous body roast that exists in Dane Brugler's scouting reports. Oh, man, hopefully I don't find myself on it. Those are our winners for today's show. Tyler Head, he's always a winner, the Extra Point. He's coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. See you then.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Sponsored by Castle Brothers Home Services. CastleBros.com.
Replacing your HVAC system doesn't have to be an emergency. Plan now, pay less later. For a limited time, get $1,500 off a new home comfort system, plus a free 2-year Comfort Club maintenance membership. Visit CastleBros.com.